Fuck you, Twitch. Go live, Twitch. Why does Twitch always do this? Hold on. Don't tell me what to do, Twitch. Hold on. Nobody ever goes over to my Twitch. I do multi-stream just, to have a backup plan, have a backup for my videos and stuff, the ones that go over StreamYard. So, good morning. Morning, Scotty. I love you, Scotty. Yes. Good morning, Thea, Muffy. Good morning, Anne. Tara with Trisha. Good morning. Good morning, Shay. Good morning. I'm sorry. So sometimes I multi-stream and I'll do it to Facebook and Twitch at the same time as over here on YouTube. But if you schedule it and be like, I'm going to schedule my live stream for 5 p.m. If you're I think even 1 minute late to your live stream, Facebook blocks you. They're like, nope, you can't be late to your own stream. And they don't allow me to do what I want to. And they give me time schedules. And as a Gemini, I don't fucking like time schedules. Don't tell me what to do. Hey, Michelle. Good morning. Hope everyone's having a good morning. My IBS is acting up today. That's what took me a little bit longer to come to the live stream. I was like, this coffee's hitting me and I kind of feel like I have to poop. No. So probably midstream, I'm going to ship myself. Yes, IBS. And they gave me medication for it one time, but I don't like it. And I think the medication made me fat. I'm pretty sure it did. But I've been eating really good. I think I've lost, seriously, my stomach's tightening up and I haven't even been working out. No sugar. Well, except for like fruit, light meals, all that shit. I'm doing good for myself. Aren't you guys proud of me? Anyways, wait, Twitch, fuck off, Twitch. Who cares? Just go live already. I don't give a shit. There, we're live on Twitch. Fuck. Gather around while I gather my thoughts. We are going to go over some stuff today. I like doing this because this is like the serious version of my parody news. But real thoughts, you know what I'm saying? So there's a number of people in the title that clearly we're going to go over. Queerly, we're going to go over. I say that because I'm gay. I could say that because I'm gay. Thea lost 20 pounds, but I swear I put 10 back on. Can I tell anybody the news, Thea and Nicole? I don't know if I'm allowed to, so let me know and gather around, and we will be right back after this message. You understand? No chance, no dance, no chance, no dance, no chance. Give me second chances. That's so cool! Hey! Ow! Ow! Oh, I can tell them? Okay, so I won't say the dates right now because crazy people. But me and Nicole are flying out to hang out with Thea. I'm so excited. So we're going to do some ghost stuff when I go and see Thea. Yeah, isn't Thea awesome, Muffy? Muffy says, I absolutely love your channel. I'm yet to catch a live, though. Yeah, I think she's going live tonight. Thea, you should drop your link so they can set a reminder on your live stream for tonight. But yes, I love Thea. Love Nicole, obviously. Her and I are like great friends. I have many, many bestest friends. So she's in the bestest. And Thea's right up there too now. I love them. And me and Nicole have a good time hanging out. So we're all three going to have a good time with some ghosts. What time tonight? 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. Oh, hold on. I thought I'm Mountain Standard. So are you. So I think now we're on the same. I think now, Thea, it's the same time where we're at since the time change. Is it 10:35 a.m. where you're at, Thea? 10:35? You have a reminder for Thea already? See, there you go. You're in trouble, Moon. You're in trouble. Moon, can I just say, I mean, I'm going to get into that. I was cheering you on, screaming at my phone, going, yesterday, just so you know. Hey, Tammy over on Facebook. Hey, everybody coming in. I noticed when I live stream, multi-stream on all three, on Twitch, Facebook, and I'm going to remove Twitch. The algorithm gets all fucked up. So hold on. Okay, there we go. Save changes. That was for me. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you mentioning that. I guess, you know what? I'll just talk about that first. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw. Somebody in this chat, they can out themselves if they want to. They text me yesterday and they're like, oh my God. Or they sent me like a screenshot of a chat and they're like, have you seen this? Get over there. I was like, wait, where? What? There it is. Tara messaged me. And I was like, what's going on? And I saw Scotty's on the panel, Moon, Lycan, Hooker. I didn't know Manda was in the background, but I was like, oh shit, this has got to be good, over on LFT Alicia's channel. And I don't think the live stream is still up, by the way, but you can see a clip of it over on Hooker's channel. Well, okay, first of all, let me just start off by saying there was a conversation being had, which, to be honest, I don't give a fuck what it was beforehand because it got real entertaining once everybody got on that panel. So, yeah, oh shit is right, Michelle. So next thing you know, Lycan's already up there. Hooker comes up there for I don't know why. Next thing you know, Scotty and Moon are up there and everybody starts screaming. Well, not everyone, but there was an argument that broke out. And Hooker said she was like attacked. Number one, before I get into what was said, Amanda and Hooker said, I can't believe Alicia allowed her to be teamed up on. And I'm like, she willingly went up there. Nobody dragged her by her mullet and like had her go up there. You know, they willingly both went up there and seemed to stand up for themselves. You know what, Moon, whether you're bi or not, I'm getting into that. I don't even give a fuck, because DeLorean and I were talking about this in Alicia's chat last night. So some words came out of Moon's mouth and basically telling Hooker, okay, Angie, love you. Telling Hooker, you know, she had said a statement and I don't remember what it was, but Moon says, oh, kind of like you failed at, like, tried having sex with men or whatever. And then it got into some insults that, you know, could be offensive to people, but they're not offensive to Manda and Hooker. You want to know why? Now, listen, I really am trying to be peaceful, but I couldn't keep my mouth shut about this. Matter of fact, I'm going to read a community post here in a minute that Hooker posted. But Hooker and Manda, almost every time they've spoke about me, and I am a gay man, Lycan, who's not a gay man, and who cares even if he was, we're called the F word as slurs, fairy, all sorts of stuff. But it's okay because, you know, they're gay, so they're allowed to use hateful words in a hateful manner. Now, clearly, Hooker and Manda, they do not like me. They do not like Lycan. So they're not using those gay slurs in a playful way. They're using them in a hateful way. So I don't care who they sleep with. I don't give a shit. I don't care what life choices they make. The point is, they're doing it to be hateful. So basically, when they say, I'm allowed to use these hateful words because I'm gay, basically what you're saying is you're allowed to be a hateful person because you're gay, and you're giving all of us gay people a bad name. Have I done that before too? Yes, I have. By, you know, calling people slurs, gay slurs. So we give people a bad name, and that's why they're like, hey, True Tam, you know, we don't need to give those people support because they're just hateful. Do you see where that goes? So Moon had called Hooker a D word. Hey, Rick, over on Facebook. A D word, rhymes with Mike. And they went over on Hooker's live stream afterwards, ranting and raving about it. How they can't believe that Alicia allowed that. Hey, Lycan, on her panel. Now, me and Amber are good. We're good now. But we can apply that same logic when Hooker was on Manda's panel, or Amber's panel, calling me the F-bomb gay slur. Rhymes with hag. Okay. She called her a trench? What's a trench? What would that be? What is that? What would that be? What's a trench? What is that? So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the muff diver. You know what I'm saying? Why is it okay for her to constantly mock your genitalia, Lycan? Not only that, but the fact that she says to you, a straight man, that you're gay and that's supposed to be some sort of insult, that tells me deep down inside she sees that as an insult. So really she's insulting herself, and maybe she has some self-anger towards herself for some reason for that. And so the only way to see that as an insult is if you have a problem with gay people. Telling me she has a problem with herself. I've never seen, I've experienced a lot of ignorance. I've been ignorant a lot of times. That I've called straight people the F word, sometimes just to be fun in a loving manner, sometimes to joke, sometimes when I've been mad. But we really got to think about what we're saying, but we also have to think about who we're applying our logic to and who we're not. It's definitely hypocritical. Not like they haven't used slurs to the maximum only to be vile and malicious. Yeah, because pretty much every time they refer to me, they use the F word or fairy or some sort of thing. And it's like, can you come up? And Lycan, you did have a good point yesterday. You said Hooker is incapable of having like a logical conversation. That is a fact. And I noticed that Alicia commented on Hooker's post that I'm about to read. She said, "Can we talk?" Guarantee you're not going to get an email. Hooker doesn't do that. Once you talk to people or on a side she doesn't like, you're basically fucked. The last people I'd possibly feel sorry for as getting trash talked would be Hooker and Manda. Absolutely. They're always talking about people's looks. And one thing I don't understand, because my husband, a lot of this bullshit, he doesn't know about, he doesn't give a fuck about. And sometimes he's like, why do you even care or talk about that? Who the fuck are you talking about? I couldn't imagine like date night or quality time together being, because they always say, we're way too busy to come live. When do you have time for each other? When they're live. And that's their version of romance. It is trashing people together. It's weird. Hope you're doing good, Pesky. She quite simply is incapable of it. She lacks the capacity to be able to have a calm and rational, intelligent conversation. Yeah, and, she was on the panel saying, oh, you don't bother me. You don't bother me, Moon. But then they go and do a whole live stream how bothered they are about basically the same exact thing that they do. In fact, I'm self-aware enough to recognize that I am better at having intelligent conversations than trash talking, Lycan says. Perhaps that's where the disconnect is. Hey, Shay, they came into Alicia's chat to cause shit. Everything was fine. Well, here's another thing I'd like to point out is they said that they were teamed up on by Moon and Scotty and Lycan and stuff. But they said they went up there to defend somebody else. They said, oh, we just came up here. Okay, so then you're doing the same thing? It's just like the whole thing of like, if you're not a lesbian or if you're a man, we get to do this and you don't. And it's like, no. Logic applies to everyone. So if you're going to use your own rules and shit like that, like with me, if you're going to use any hateful words, I mean, I don't care if it's gay slurs, racial, calling someone a cunt or whatever it is. I mean, your intention behind the word is what matters. And so when Moon spouted out those words to them, I was cheering her on because I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen now. They're going to turn around and say, oh my God, did you hear she called me that? And it's like, but you're okay with that. Hooker and Manda sell themselves on the street trash talking ways on here. They're the last people I would think would complain about being ganged up on. I agree with that. I mean, I don't think they were ganged up on, and I think they have a little bit of anger towards Alicia right now. And I mean, Alicia just lets everyone talk. Oh, that's why I like Alicia. She's always been neutral and tons of bullshit. And I like that, you know? We're all humans. Why are people so cruel? Morning, Jen Jen. Well, let me go ahead and read this community post. Oh, let's see. Where did I put it? Okay. Now. This is the problem when people don't have original names when you type in there. It's so hard to find their fucking channel. Okay, because she directed this community post at me. So 4 hours ago, Hooker says, oh, Bob, because they call me Bob. Us saying something factual isn't using it as an insult. And in the screenshot, she's saying calling Lycan gay is factual. So slander. But she's saying that's a fact. She says, keep reaching and by all means, keep talking about us. Whisper, some people just aren't very smart. Mind your business. Fuck, I don't care. She's like a 60-year-old woman using like initials like IDK and like, just spell the word out. Okay. So basically saying mind my own business. I think I have most right to talk about this topic. You want to know why? Because you are the one that calls me gay slurs every time you speak about me. Every time. But in this post, actually, you didn't. I'm surprised. Or is that a fairy emoji? I can't tell. She calls people slurs because she's insulting them. No other reason. And insulting herself. Amy! Love you, Amy! I'll make out with you. This is why they never click my link when I drop it. Well, as I showed before, Lycan, do you remember the Miss Portland stream? I just showed it a couple streams ago. I had Hooker on the panel. I was like, hey, Lycan's backstage. You know, do you mind? Oh, I have nothing to say to him. And she dropped down like immediately. That's what I can't stand about anybody who has issues with people is they're never willing to talk it out, but they'll complain about it nonstop. And I'm like, technically, you're keeping yourself in that space of anger all the time because you're not, you know, progressing and making any progress. You're just sitting there talking shit nonstop. Earth says, watching from the bushes for quite a while now. I'll be heading back to the bushes listening. Have a great stream. Thanks, Earth. Oh, there's True Tam. That my best friend. That's a real bad bitch. Got my own money. I don't need no shit. True Tam, you're so fun. She's scared of you. I think what it is and Moon, I'm so glad you said this. And you looked good on camera, by the way. I loved when you said, turn on your cam, bitch. Turn on your cam when you're talking to me. Oh, where are you going? Love you. Oh, okay, love you. You said, turn on your cam, you bleep, when you're talking to me. Listen, I try not to be pushy or mean to people about showing their face or anything. And people always have an excuse of, well, it's for my privacy or, you know, any excuse to not go on camera. I'm talking about the ones that talk the most about other people's looks, Manda and Hooker being one of them. Don't upload a pre-recorded video. And I know they're not going to do this. They're not capable of it. And neither is Captain Kangaroo. Don't upload a preloaded video with a filter with little cute like Instagram or Snapchat, whatever the fuck you call those, dog ears or like, hey guys, just saying hi, and you have like a cat nose and whiskers. It's like, what? You did that just to say hi? Why don't you just fucking come on live and say hi? I don't get it. But they'll talk shit. I promise you, if any of these people that do that, mainly like Manda, Hooker, Captain, if their camera was on, you know how aggressive their voices are? If their camera was turned on, that aggression would be 100% gone, and I could almost 100% guarantee you that. Yeah, Michelle, and name calling, I mean, I think it's going to happen our entire life, unfortunately, because we're all immature in some way, but I don't know. Uh, the whole fucking, like, if you could name call people but not show yourself, like, talk about their looks, that's a pussy move. Be a mother, Manda, before you start telling others what to do. Oh, shit. I should have read. I wanted to read Amy's other comment. Hooker and Manda's noses is in everyone's business but their own. They need to figure out their own life before judging others. Well, it's not even really that, but I mean, I think I mostly have a problem with the accountability part and just moving on. Because they are not willing to be like, oh, I was an asshole, I did this or that. They want you to do it. And then, like, that's why I have a problem with details when it comes to forgiveness and, you know, talking shit out with people. I don't need fucking details. We could just say, hey, we're assholes to each other. I'll stop. You want to stop? And then there it is. There are those people that pick every single thing apart. Like, no, you didn't apologize for this or that. It's like, yeah, I'm probably not going to because I don't even really remember it. So fuck you. Hand raveled mysteries. True Tam says it's just like when I call them out. Funny, lots of balls behind a keyboard, but not ballsy enough to own it. Exactly. And it drives me nuts because, okay, let's use Captain Kangaroo for example. I've told him to turn on his camera just because, I mean, every time he talks about me, he has to say something like, you know, about appearance, or not just me, but when he talks about other people, I'm like, well, then just show yourself. I don't see how hard it is. And he's like, oh, they want to see me because they think I'm hot. It's like, nobody thinks you're hot based on your voice changer. Nobody. And if you turn the camera on, I'm sure it would stay exactly the same as I already feel. You're disgusting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Shell Bell. Tara Boom says she did scam 20K from her and thousands of others. There's proof. There's a proof stream. GJ went on panel too. She got pretty quiet when that was brought up yesterday, actually. She got pretty quiet. Hooker in the 20K. I think it was Scotty that said, where's the 20K? Or I don't know if it was Scotty or Moon, because your voices sound so similar to each other. I'd love to see what Captain looks like because I have visions of a bloke in an egg-stained stream. Oh, Captain? Yeah, I picture Captain being like big beer belly, kind of like hunchback, because he's always like, ugh, watching us over his desk and like getting all tense and mad with cigarettes in his mouth, if he is real, and like balding for sure. And just like one of those like greasy people that smell like spam. Not email spam, but like meat spam. And like works hard. So he's like angry and annoyed all the time. And so he comes on here and vents it out. And he probably has a stub dick too. So mine's big. I have a big penis. Oh my God. Yeah, I think you told me you like spam before, Trisha. She's not really a hooker. She claims the title because in her world, that's an elaborate title. Listen, I don't belong to like, I'm gay, but I don't do the whole like LGBTQ, like we stick together kind of stuff. I do that with human beings. Like if you're a good human being, then I support you, you know? So like this whole thing of like, well, I can say it, but you can't, to me is stupid. And I will say this. A lot of people, they say if gay people, we can call other people gay slurs, and whatever. And it's like, okay, I mean, sure, whatever the fuck you want to do, but it kind of looks ignorant. They compare it to African Americans, using the N-word with each other. But what a lot of my close friends and a lot of African American people I've spoke to, they use the N-word in a different light to take the hatred and the anger out of it, and they use it as a term of endearment to each other. So it's not the same as comparing it with gay people. Now, if you use the word like a gay slur to a gay person and you're taking the hatred out of it, sure, you could kind of compare it. But hooker, you're still using the word in a hateful way. So that's not a term of endearment. So you can't be like, oh, I'm gay, I could say that. No, just because you're gay doesn't mean you can be hateful. That's basically what you're saying. If you were using it as a term of endearment towards me to take the hatred out of it, it'd be way different. That N-word being nipple. Exactly. Oh, I hope you're doing really good, Shell Bell. You're back and have been in quite a few chats. I know I've seen you around lately. Where the hell have you been? Jewish people were the... Oh my God, like, and you stop it right now. In the UK, we eat faggots with chips. Ooh, baguettes, right? What is a fagot? I forgot. Faggots with chips. I thought you smoked them, or that's just like you just smoke a fag. I don't care saying those words. I know YouTube is like, ugh. If I think real hard, I could remember moving a sand block in Egypt. There was this one time like it. Actually, the coffee just hit, and I am not going to say that. Holy shit, I almost said something that would be fucking clipped and replayed for centuries. Oh my God. Control your tongue, Robbie, now. Hey, Sister Knives. It's like meaty balls. So is most of here. They have meaty balls too. Do you get it? Okay, hang on. Let me go through some of this other stuff and then I'll open the panel up. Okay, so Beck. Let's just go over to Beck real quick. Shipwreck Beck. Okay. Now, let me go over here. Go over here. Okay. Now. Oh, by the way, I'm sure a lot of you don't give a fuck. Nev Campbell announced on Instagram that she's coming back for Scream 7 yesterday morning. And the original writer of Scream, Kevin Williamson, is directing it. It's going to be good. Anybody watch J-Lo's new movie, by the way, on Prime? Oh, okay, Mark W. It was surprisingly kind of good. It's like a giant music video. It's like a musical. Yeah. It's giving Scream. It's giving Scream vibes. It's giving Scream, bitch. Oh, she's up early posting this morning. Wow, Beck didn't drink into the morning. Or maybe she did. Anyways, let me just share the screen here. Okay. I don't know why she keeps changing her name. Now she's the arsonist. But let's read what Shipwreck Beck had to say to me. Okay. She said, Save Robbie thinks people care and respect his opinions. Dude, you can hardly think for yourself, let alone give advice on how to be a better human. All of your friends are unhinged psychos. Oh, well, you were one of my friends at one point. So yeah, I can't disagree with you there. One of them who uses a magic camera to appear smaller than she is. Another one abuses and revenge porns the women he dates. You dox and stalk people, and yet you somehow think you've got authority to explain to people how forgiveness works. It's not authority. It's called fucking experience and wisdom, bitch. Where you at? Where you at? She said, you're so pathetic, it's funny. Now this is the part that's funny. Uh, and I'm trying to be nice about it, okay? She said, "I've been sober for far too many," and I was like waiting for it to say weeks or years so I could be like, "Oh, that's incorrect. Days." Let's start that sentence over. "I've been sober for far too many days in a row. But please stay tuned for a morning coffee talk stream about liars and losers of YouTube." Now I'm going to stop there and say most of the things that you do on your night streams where you're like belligerently drunk and stuff, you don't remember. So how are you going to be able to have a coffee stream to like talk about those things? Because you don't remember half the shit that flies out of your mouth. She said, "Copycats, people who lack talent, people who hurt others for content." No, hold on. I'm going to pause at the talent part. Has anybody ever seen Shipwreck Beck like upload anything of talent? Because it's always like about me or morbid or hatred or anger. Don't see any talent. And food, I mean, that would be a talent if it didn't go straight to the ass. Okay, not a talent. Lycan says, "Shipwreck Beck better start being nice or else I'm going to think about not supporting her anymore." Okay, it says the one who can't keep the bottle from her mouth. Yeah, and listen, I support anybody choosing to make a better choice to quit alcohol or whatever. But dude, okay, Beck, because I've had experience with this woman repeatedly. If you can stay sober for at least 6 months, I'll take you seriously and I'll have a conversation with you because that's really when your brain starts to get back to, first you have to go through all the emotions inside. A couple of days is not going to do it. You are really going to need to like deep dive inside yourself and work shit out before you like judge others or go after others or remember what you did when you were drunk to others and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to take time. Um, and anger, I mean, that's not going to help. That's probably just going to get you back to the bottle in a couple of days. And then we're going to be right here again. Okay. Okay. Uh, she talks about scamming women who've gone after victims of domestic violence. It's a trio from 2019. "I can't wait to get my old videos off the old computer. Should be a fun time." Now, what she's referring to is uploading old fucking stupid videos of like shit that happened in 2019. Beck, what you need to do is go and like see the shit that you've done to people in 2019 because that's going to be a part of the sobriety journey. You're going to have to forgive yourself. So focusing on other people's actions and uploading it, I mean, nobody gives a fuck about that but you. Shit that happened years ago. But if you do it towards yourself and pull up things that have happened to yourself or that you've done to people, that's going to help you in your journey. Okay. She said, "Maybe I should go through my emails and old files as well. Might be interesting. Anyways, we've got time. I don't flip flop like Rob, Amy, Nikki, Lycan, and the lot. So we got lots of time to just sit and breathe all kinds of life back into this drama." Well, that's going to help sobriety, isn't it? Okay, Shellbell. Amy says she's still drinking, Robbie. She has not stopped. YouTube is not a counselor's with a cozy couch. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can tell when Beck's drinking. It's very obvious. And yeah, she drunk streams pretty freaking often and like drags people and all sorts of shit. It's fucking stupid. But I get it because I've been there. So like you don't know how to work the issues out that you've had before. You're not going to figure out what to do, Beck, until you can recall what those conversations were. And I can remind you, it's going to be embarrassing when you rewatch your streams, but the majority of the time you just call people like fucking idiot. 100, 100, 100. Like that's, you pretty much just say 100 your entire fucking stream. And then you hear like the bottle swishing. I like Beck as like the sober Beck, the right-minded Beck. She can be a really logical, cool person. But you ain't seeing logic when you're blinding yourself with booze. Hey, hybrid. Okay. Now, I want to show something interesting that somebody sent me. This is another person that often trolls me and many others and herself and stuff. Actually, I'm just going to click on this. Let's see. So remember how I told you guys that, AJ followed us to Vegas and this shit? Well, this right here, all of these were deleted, but during that time, I screen recorded so much shit that she did. I want to show you something interesting, though. Let me go. I guess while I'm finding that, I could show the recording of the voice recording that I have. So basically, me and Amber and Amy, and we're just this big group of people that stalks people and lies to people and does all this crazy shit, right? But AJ documented herself basically stalking my wedding to the point where she was recording herself. But she says she didn't know we were going to Vegas for the wedding. But Lokomai, who doesn't ever fucking have a reason to lie, she was like, no, I remember clearly Kromavalt joking about, he said, I'm going to the wedding. Huh? Well, I guess we'll just see. But she posts this video of her in the air flying, and she was like, family vacation to Vegas. And I'll get to that in a minute. But my question is, Kromavalt was supposed to not be you at the time. You said it was just you and your son in Vegas following us. Where the hell was Kromavalt? Why the fuck were they posting Vegas videos? Yes, Pesky. She asked, AJ was on film, and this was hours before my wedding. She's proving to people that she's in Vegas during my wedding. She's like, see, I'm going to ask them what day and time it is. And she walks up to this person at a desk and she asks them, and they say April 1st, which was my fucking wedding day. And I'm like, what the fuck? Amen, Caterpillar. That's why Christ was persecuted. Hell yeah. I'm not saying hell yeah to him being persecuted. AJ just wanted to see me on my special day. Well, it's crazy. And listen, and this is why, when people talk to her, that's not the issue I have. Lycan, she goes in your community and shit. And this is why, Andog asked, why am I blocked? The reason I blocked him is because he straight up was like, I support AJ in this. She's being harassed. And it's like, dude, you did a whole stream, Andog, on her going to my fucking wedding and how crazy she is. And everybody knows she's Kromavalt. She is not being harassed for shit. So there is zero sympathy on my end. And so when people are like, oh yeah, poor AJ, I'm like, yeah, no, fuck that. You're ignorant. And it's not to be mean to Andog, but that's fucking ignorant. I saw the video she was posting and did a few the same day, next day. And yeah, she did some going home and all sorts of shit. So anyways, hey, Peach, do you guys remember when AJ said, I did not contact his lawyer. He does not have a lawyer. The lawyer is fake. Well, see, the good thing about documenting things when, people lie and you have to spend $5,000 on an attorney to go to court for a crazy person that's lying about you. Well, let me show you something. Where's that? Okay. I'm going to vape while I play this, so I'm going to turn my camera off. Just take a listen to this, okay? Let's see what AJ had to say. Hey, Crystal. Oh, wait, I got to turn it up. Hold on, I said. Fuck. All right. Here we go.
Work. I got a message from a person who I will not tell because...
Okay, first of all, I'm just going to pause here. Hey, darling Nikki. And I'm going to say, AJ saying the reason that she dropped the restraining order is because some person just messaged her and said, it wasn't Robbie that was striking her son's channel. Remember how she says I struck her son's channel still to this day? Well, this was what? Nikki, do you know the date of this? She did this live stream, what, like a year ago or something? But anyways.
I'm not going to throw them under the bus. But they told me who struck my son's channel. And it wasn't Robbie. They did not show me proof.
Okay, right there she said it wasn't Robbie, but I don't know why she bleeped it out. That's stupid.
Told me that it was someone else. And that they did it to stir the pot and to cause this drama. At this point, I made the decision because it was right before Christmas, and I never...
So she made the decision to drop the restraining order because someone told her. And she's saying the reason she got the restraining order is because somebody just told her that I was doing it. Just so any gossip that we hear, guys, we just march into the courthouse. Okay, she made it June of 2022. March to the courthouse and use that as evidence and say it's fact, right? Just go by hearsay, right? And she also uses the excuse in this note she wrote to the court saying, I got the restraining order because I was advised by the police to get one. You were advised by the police based off lies you told them. I'm sure if I told somebody, oh my God, darling Nikki has been outside my house with a knife every single night, they'd be like, go get a restraining order. But if that was a lie, then I would know, okay, don't get one because I'm going to have to prove it eventually. Now, she did contact my lawyer, and she's deleted this proof off her channel. She did, in fact, contact him. She does, in fact, know he's real, and I'm going to prove that right now. So give me just a minute to pull that up. Thanks to someone who got this for me, and I was like, thank the heavens. So remember, AJ says she did not contact my lawyer. That's what she's saying now, but she's publicly said she did, and I'm about to show you. That way you guys know that, the lies are real. And she also knows that he's real. That's what I'm proving here.
He got back to me and told me he was his lawyer. I said, can you please...
Oh, wait, hold on.
Because he didn't happen.
Okay.
I had to take action, and anybody in their right mind would. It was not a fake no contact order or fake.
It was based off of fake things that you put on there. It was you went real life. That's correct. So she's saying she went real life on me, but it was with fake information. Okay.
Protection order or fake restraining order. It was very, very real.
Very, very real life.
Very good reason to happen. He said he would leave me alone.
Now, hold on. What she's referring to there is she's trying to make the excuse, instead of lack of evidence, she was trying to make the excuse saying, he went on a live stream and said he'd leave me alone, and that's why I'm dropping this. That's not what I fucking said. And she said, and he said he learned his lesson. I said, through this experience, how expensive and scary it's been, I have learned not to fuck with crazy people like that anymore. That's what I said. Very real that you still go at Robbie. Amen, Peach. Someone needs to return this bitch back to the animal research lab. Hey, Astral. How you doing? All right, let's listen.
It was Christmas time. He was taking subscribers' money for a lawyer.
Okay, I'm going to pause you there. She's trying to gaslight. She's like, see, he was taking advantage of you at Christmas time. Bitch, you were going real life on me at Christmas time. That's what you done did. Let me turn on my camera for that. You were going real life on me for Christmas. Yeah, exactly, Peach. And she hates my subscribers. So why the fuck would you care? Did I force anybody to give me $3,000? No, everybody was kind enough. And thank you to everybody that helped with that, because I got the chance to meet the amazing Chris Ponce, and he helped me. He was heaven sent. It was awesome. Hey, Charlie Ann. If she had proof, what's the problem? Exactly. She's about to get into that.
I'll fight this. I confirmed that he had a lawyer because he didn't show up with one at court.
Now, I'm going to pause there. Remember how she says he didn't show up with one at court, and Captain Kangaroo keeps saying he didn't show up to one at court. He doesn't have one. They're continuing to say to this day, he didn't have one. He didn't show up to court. But she's not continuing what she said a long time ago, but she deleted this.
Called the name of the person he claimed was his lawyer to confirm it. he got back to me and told me he was his lawyer. I said, can you please enter an appearance so that it's official and I know that it's real?
Bam, gonna stop there. As soon as he said yes, my lawyer told her when she contacted my real lawyer, yes, I'm entering my appearance next week. AJ ran down and dropped it because she knew it was real. She's admitting it right here.
He entered it into the court. I got a message from a person who I will not tell because I'm not going to throw them under the bus.
This is bullshit. She's just making excuses of why she dropped it when really in reality, she even says in this video at one point, I would have had to show digital forensics of real evidence. So, and she goes, which was really expensive. I'm going to turn on my camera again for this. Sorry, I've been vaping. If I had a child and I cared and I really thought that they were being harassed and stalked, I would spend any fucking amount of money to protect them. You didn't do that. You didn't have real evidence. You couldn't prove real evidence, so you dropped it. You had fake evidence you thought you could get by with, but you can't because it has to be authenticated. What's the problem? You couldn't authenticate your evidence because it was manufactured by you. That's why.
But they told me who struck my son's channel, and it wasn't right. They did not show me proof. They just told me that it was someone else.
So AJ just goes off. She says she trusts no one online, right? I trust none of you. But some random person is like, hey, he didn't do that. She's like, oh, cool. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go drop the restraining order. Stupid. Dumb.
And that they did it to stir the pot and to cause this drama.
They did it. So that clears my name, right? Completely. Even though still to this day, she accuses me of things she can't authenticate because she manufactures it. Now, listen, I'm going to say this to people like Andog and stuff. AJ trolls herself. I'm not going to invest my time. Look, I do my live streams. I'm married. Like, I have a busy life, and then I like to do my edited videos of the breaking news, and that shit takes time. I'm not going to dedicate time to fucking go after this girl who even lies to go on court documents. I'm not going to give her a reason to go to a courthouse again because she's a pain in the ass. She trolls herself. AJ will go as far as to dox shit about herself because she doesn't care. Just to be like, oh my God, look. AJ will strike her own son's channel with your information for a privacy strike. And yes, I even showed the evidence of my conversation with Google. You can, in fact, and I even showed you a step-by-step tutorial. You can, in fact, go in, do a privacy strike, and put someone else's email and name in there. It's not like a copyright strike. She did that. Nobody knew what her son's channel was. Nobody. And to Captain Kangaroo, he always says, they're stalking. Why are they watching her son's channel? First of all, who said I was watching the channel? One night I said, why the fuck is your child up at 2 o'clock in the morning playing video games on his channel? Because AJ goes into chats and you know, she says, I'm busy. I'm at work. I'm here. She would go in years ago and be like, I'm busy modding for my son's channel right now. And I think to myself, what the fuck? It's 2 in the morning. What the fuck is she doing? So don't pull words out of my mouth. Huh? Let's keep going.
At this point, I made the decision because it was right before Christmas, and I never wanted to hurt someone's real life.
Yes, you did. That's why you went real life. Until you figured out you were going to go to jail for it. Then you dropped it. Yeah, you did.
I just wanted them to leave me the fuck alone. I decided to file a motion to dismiss, and I'm going to...
If you wanted anyone to leave you alone and you really thought they were harassing you, you would keep the restraining order, dumbass.
I'll show you the motion right now. And as you can see, I state in good faith, I would dismiss this because he said he would leave me alone.
Nope, that's not why I never said that, because the whole point of going against her in court is to say, I'm not the one going at her. I said I'm not going to fuck with crazy people anymore. Sorry about the train.
And I also state there's been miscommunication. There's no way to prove certain elements of my original no contact order.
And that's because you made it up. There's no way to prove it because you made it up. You lied on court documents. I've proven this over and over.
Please dismiss the case. I did not dismiss the case because there was no evidence.
Yes, you did. You said there's no way to prove. That would be called evidence. If you had a way to prove it, that's evidence. You did not have evidence. That's a lack of evidence because you made it up.
The case because the evidence could not be proven to be Robbie alone. And why should we have to pay?
I don't know why she blocked my name out of this.
For someone else's crimes.
Why should I have to pay for someone else's crimes if it wasn't me, she says. Now remember, this is just based on some random person just telling her that it wasn't me. AJ made this shit up. All of it.
I am not saying he is innocent. I'm not saying he didn't harass me.
Right. You harassed me with this order, and you still do. On Chromavolt. And that's why you say you're not Chromavolt, so you could harass me on there and then play innocent on your other channel. So that dumb people like Andog believe you.
I did the right thing. I stopped this case because it was a waste of...
Does anybody remember when AJ says, it's not real, there was no case. There isn't a case. In Captain Kangaroo, there wasn't a case. Well, there's a case number. You just called it a case. See, they don't keep up with their lies. They delete it, and since they're really small channels, they think, oh, well, no one saw that. I could just change my mind and lie. No. Told you that I document everything.
Your money, the people involved, the people that participated in this. There's no way to prove it. And that is the most frustrating.
There's no way to prove it because you made it up. And you're saying people that participated. Well, who is it? You're saying there's people. Prove it. You can't because you're just, it's delusional thoughts in your head. That's why. That is the only reason why. I'm not going to walk into a police station or call the police unless I can show them right there, this person's doing this. This is what they just said. Evidence right there. Not just made up bullshit like you do. Okay. Now I have a few more things to go through, but if anybody has anything to contribute or add, you can take a link. Okay. Now, and thank you to who sent that to me. Let's see if I had anything else. No, I mean, just basically Captain Kangaroo. His streams have been really funny. He's been really angry lately and just ranting and raving. And he's like, yo, stalkers, you're so evil and angry. I'm like, but you're evil, like getting all mad and evil and angry over like people you've never met in your entire life. I've never met the dude. Well, on a panel one time on shifts. And that's it. Other than that, we don't fucking talk. I've never met him. He doesn't know anything. And that's another reason that I lean towards the conspiracy of him possibly not being a real person. Yeah. And that's why it's like, how hard is it to do this? Hey. Oh, I love you.
I love you.
My husband's going to the gym.
She's coming with me. Come on. You want to stay in here, Papa?
You want to stay in here?
Can she?
Yeah.
You want me to keep the door open?
No, because the air filters, like, I think it gets into the microphone.
Love you.
Love you. Now she's following you.
Come on.
No, but he's just funny, and he's like, yeah, man, I used to turn on my camera all the time, shirtless. Yeah, I'm hot as fuck. Well, I mean, just to prove you're not a fake person, why don't you fucking do that? Why don't you fucking turn on your camera? Why don't you fucking prove that you're a real fucking person? Hold on, let me make sure this is lacking.
Why should I have to prove I'm a real fucking person, Robbie?
Can you say I'm hot as fuck?
I'm hot as fuck.
I don't know if you listen to his streams, but he's like, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm hot as fuck.
I'm hot as fuck. you don't got shit on me, Robbie. So I was thinking, like, because there's lots of theories jumping around about, Captain Kangaroo and Robbie and all that. Or not Robbie. Sorry, I just woke up. AJ.
Yeah.
And let's just say this is all correct, and let's say AJ is Captain Kangaroo. Well, that would also mean that AJ is also Chromovault, right?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty much 100% on Chromovault. Captain Kangaroo, I'm playing with the idea of it, but
yeah, but then that would just mean that she would be all of them. Then she would be Chromovault and Captain Kangaroo at the same time. That would be quite a feat to pull off.
It would.
I would say, I think it would actually take a fair bit of talent to be all those things, all those people.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying AJ's not talented. I just not sure I would be prepared to. Because look, I do impressions,
Yeah.
And usually I can tell like when people are capable of doing impressions as well, like when they can kind of change their voice to kind of match something else or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think AJ has that ability, and it's not really something a lot of people can pick up on. It's just something like, you either have it or you don't. It's like being able to like hear certain, like for example, when someone like says like if there's a voice or whatever, some people might be able to recognize the voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And other people can't because they just don't have the ear for it. They're not able to pick up on like the subtleties of like speech and accents and impediments or whatever.
Right. See, and I wouldn't even care. Like, let's say, I mean, I know she's Chromovault because she started that channel. She said she was giving the channel away to get away from the drama and stuff, but she hasn't. But the only reason I care at all that she is Chromovault is because she goes around and she tells people, I'm not in these communities. I'm not saying anything about them. I'm not doing anything. And it's like, but you are. And, and that's why you're being responded to. And let's say she wasn't Chromovault. Like, I would go to that person that I gave that channel to and be like, look, dude, they think that you're me. Like, I gave you the channel to talk about something else, but they're uploading all of I don't know if you know this, but most of the videos where it's like older clips of me and stuff, those are videos she's already posted in the past. So this Chromovault supposedly has her whole entire library of videos, knows all the stories and experiences, and is as angry as AJ is about it. But now it's in a new person's hand, but they talk the same. They pin their comments in their own comment section the same. So it's like, that's the only reason it bugs me is because she plays innocent. And it's like, dude, I'm responding to you because you are addressing me.
Right. Well, I would, yeah. And, I even said to Chromovault before, I said, look, if you keep addressing me, I'm going to keep addressing you as AJ. So feel free to keep doing that. So I'll just keep calling you AJ. Like that was the deal I worked out with them. Mostly because they reneged on the deal that I made about peace,
Yeah.
I said with AJ, I said, look, I'll have peace. This was like a long time ago. It was like a year or so ago. I said, look, we can have peace. We had some kind of agreement, and I included Chromovault in that. And she was like, okay. And, separate people, right? And then Chromovault started to make videos and posts about me again. I'm like, well, I guess the deal's over, And so it's so either it is or isn't. But the point is, I mean, I think it's fair to kind of call them a package deal at this point. Even if like they are two separate people, there'd be a pretty easy way to, just dispel the rumors, and that would just be like to go live and start talking, about your experiences being Chromovault if you're not, you know, her sister, or you're not someone in her family, or whatever the hell malarkey story they made up. You know, I could kind of see like them making up details to conceal someone's real identity. You know, I could
Mhm.
totally see that. And that would be one reason why the, you know, the story doesn't match up if it is a different person, you know, devil's advocate.
Right.
But, you know, it's not that hard to just go live and talk. You know, you don't have to show your face. You don't have to put your name out there. So, I mean, I'm not going to believe it until I basically see it, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, she does say that. She says, you know, they're trying to get my identity over on Chroma Vault. She'll say this. They're trying to dox me, and it's like, no, we're just trying to figure out, because with me, it's a lot different because
Hmm.
this cost me a lot of time, you know, getting up evidence to give to my attorney,
Right.
money and stuff like that. So to me, it's more like I document it for those reasons, just to
Mhm.
show, like, dude, come on. I would never just like be like, oh, here, take this channel, but do the same exact thing that I did, even though
Right.
I'm saying, you know, we're trying to protect the brand and get away from that.
Yeah, you would think that the channel would kind of veer away from anything to do with you after that point, if especially if they wanted to avoid any kind of legal repercussions for AJ, you know? You don't
Right.
want to have that confusion. It's like, well, did she do this? Is because that could count with like harassment against her, you know? And
Yeah.
again, like I mean, to me, it'd be very simple to clear this all up. Like just go live. AJ does it sometimes where she's talking. What's the difference? Like just do it. If it's not AJ, then go live and prove it. It's not that hard.
Exactly. And here's another point is you know, she has said, I'm AJ's sister. Or that's AJ said it with her own mouth. She's like, okay, it's my sister.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if you're protecting the identity, I'm not saying anyone to do this, but anybody could look up to see who your siblings are. And,
Right.
you know, so that basically that's not protecting their privacy at
That's true.
all.
That's true. That's very true. Plus, yeah, it would be easy to kind of verify if she had any sisters at all to even prove if that was real or not. Like, you know, people do background checks and stuff on people all the time to see like whatever information. I haven't looked, so I don't know if she has a sister or not, but it would just be very easy to verify. And then you could see like, oh, you know, you could look up her sister's names and see, you know, so it doesn't really say protect anyone, like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she said the sister gave it to, because I don't know who it was recently in a comment section, but they said, I don't like men. And they're like, I'm not a female. And they're like, wait, I thought you were AJ's sister. And that recently the story just changed, that
Right.
now it's a man in the United Kingdom randomly that has her whole library, which is really hard to transfer videos over unless you have like a USB and stuff, or, you know, I guess you could do it on Google Drive or whatever. That takes
Mhm.
a lot of time. So this man in United Kingdom has every single old video that you've already uploaded to re-upload.
Yeah, listen, I will say it is technically possible to upload all your content to a Google Drive or Dropbox or something like that, and then just allow permissions for someone else to look in there and get access to all that stuff. It wouldn't be too hard
Right.
to do that, technically speaking. But I mean, do I think it? I mean, I feel like at least they would have some other focuses, some other kinds of content to do. You know, not just the same people. You
Well,
know, oh,
not
you
just the
know
same
what?
people, but the
You know
same
what?
style,
The
you
same
know?
style, yeah. But also, you know what? I do recall them saying that they experienced a lot of the same things AJ did with the same people over
Hmm.
the years. And I'm like, so you were involved then in some of this stuff? If that's true, then you must be somebody, you know, from the past. You know what this reminds me of? Do you know that Machete account
Yeah,
that
I've
constantly
heard
like
of
built
them, but
that
I know
talks
they,
about me and they built their whole channel off of me?
yeah.
Yeah, but they'll deny it. They also claim to be someone from my old community. And someone like, oh yeah, I've been around for years and I saw all this stuff. I'm like, who the fuck do you like? Who are you? And I don't even know like all the details of all the stuff that went down, and you know they'll back total lies and stuff. And it's like I don't know. I don't know if I and people did think it was someone else from that community, but
Hmm.
I don't know for sure. The point is though, you know, people could be anybody behind an anonymous account, you know?
Well, and you know me, like I'm already one of those people that's kind of like, who is that? Like paranoid and kind of guesses a little bit too soon and stuff. And I said this the other day to AJ. I said, if you didn't lie, because she's done this in the past, like during court, a lot of my evidence is all the channels that she was, or she outed herself and stuff, that there's facts that she admitted to being these. And I said, if you didn't lie about who you are as these accounts, then it wouldn't put that curiosity, to be like, well, who else is she in my head? Like the Captain Kangaroo one, I could see that one's a little bit out there that I'm like, questioning still. Most likely it probably isn't her or someone else. It's just a crazy person. But I wouldn't think that. And these people say, I'm a truth teller. We're truth tellers. But they're not even honest about they can't even do this. Just turn on. That's the fucking truth.
Well, a lot of times when people say they're truth tellers, they're telling their truth, not the ultimate truth, Like they'll say, this is the difference between a truth teller and the absolute truth.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say, the sky's looking orange today,
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like the reality of the situation is, the sky was only orange because the sun was in the sky at sunset and it colored the sky a certain way because of the clouds and the particles and the atmosphere. And really, there's no sky at all because there's space beyond that and it's all black. And, so that would be the ultimate truth. But their truth is the sky looks orange, but it's just a small piece of, the overall picture.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it also, it really bugs me. A lot of the lies, of course, are annoying, but the main one over on Chromavault, Captain Kangaroo too, but Chromavault is the child stalker,
Mm-hmm.
pedo protector, pedo stuff. And it's like, that's why I'm upset. And that's why I'm upset. It is AJ doing that. And then saying, hey guys, when's the last time that you're like, make a community post saying, oh, I wasn't listening because I was doing this and that and that. Sorry, hold on. There's a train.
Mm-hmm.
Like saying your whole entire day. Nobody fucking does that. And it's like she does it on purpose to be like, I was at work. I was doing this.
Right. To give her kind of this alibi of like why she wasn't doing all these things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if you know about that lady that went viral that was caught like masturbating on the beach and she got arrested.
Yeah, I showed that on stream.
Yeah, well, she just recently took her own life.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That was a shame.
Yeah, and there's been people that have been accused of stuff like that have done the same thing. And so the person that's running around calling people P supporters and P's and all that, child stalkers, is calling other people suicide trolls.
Exactly, yeah. And that to me, trying to put these allegations on someone, that is a form of suicide trolling in my opinion. Trying to tear them down completely, everything about them, their worth in life, their job, their looks, all that stuff can be a form of suicide trolling. And also just flat out saying like, yes, I would like them to blank,
Yeah. And see, and that's why I wanted to play the recording of her from, like a year and a half ago saying, Robbie didn't do that to my son's channel. I didn't have evidence. I couldn't prove it. But still to this day, not in court, but online, she's continuing that narrative. But when there's no proof anywhere of that.
Right. Yeah, I don't like the child stalker claims. That's an easy way to lose my support.
Yeah.
They just say that about every guy on here that gets, any kind of shit. They just want to put anything on them.
Well, you know why they do it too, is because of those hunter groups and stuff like that. This is what I think, so that people will physically go at you because
yes,
ultimately that's what they want.
Yeah, they want people to harm you.
Yeah. So what do you think about because Tara Boom was like, get over there and listen to it, the whole thing that happened with Hooker on the panel yesterday?
I think Hooker got back just a small bit of what she gives to other people.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I don't feel bad about it at all. Not a single bit. I don't know if they complained about what I said or what Scotty said. I think she deserves all of that because she tears people down in the same ways. She talks about their genitalia. She talks about their sexual orientation. It's just constant, harassment and bullying from her. And they for them over there, that's fine. Like when she does it to people, it's fine, But if she gets a small dose of it back, oh, it's a huge problem. Sorry, no, don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, also, they said she was teamed up on, but it wasn't just Hooker. It was Hooker and Manda screaming. So they were teaming
Hooker
up
and Manda,
too,
and I'm sorry, teamed up on by whom? I guess
Manda
Scotty.
yesterday said there was 10 people on the panel screaming at Hooker. I'm like, I don't even think
No. I think Scotty and Moon they responded a bit. I responded a bit, but that's because Hooker was on the offensive. Hooker is like that. She's a bully, right? And she only likes to be on the side
It's me.
that has a bunch of people backing her up. She doesn't like to be on the side where she's being bullied. That's a classic bully right there.
Well, and I don't see it as bullying if you're dishing it. It's one thing if
she wasn't she wasn't being bullied. She was just getting clapped back.
Right. When somebody says, I'm being harassed on here, but they're putting out video after video about the person they're saying is harassing them. It's like harassment means unwanted.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, Scotty. Hey, Sally.
Hey, I'm putting my headphones in real quick. Give me 1 sec.
Oh, okay.
No, Scotty's not in the Legion, Sarah. Listen, just because I can be civil on a panel doesn't mean that we're in cahoots or something.
Oh, yeah. You're saying it wrong. Little peanut.
Little peanut.
That.
Does she not realize how cringe she is when she says that?
It is cringe. And it's not just because, we've disliked each other. It's like.
No, even that Randy, or what was her name? Randy and One Win, or those people saw how cringy it was when she said that crap. It's like, what is that?
Well, what if you did have a small dick? Like, would that be your fault? Is that something that you need to be?
No, it's God's fault.
Exactly. So it's blasphemy what they're doing.
Right. They're going against God now.
Yeah, God being your dick.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Hooker came in there and started from the first comment she made in chat.
Yep.
She was instigating it,
She was.
And then she jumps on the panel, asks for the link, like she's this big badass, right? She's going to handle her business, everyone's business, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
So she jumps up on the panel and instantly is rude, and just starts spouting off, her and Manda both.
Yep.
And then when they get a negative reaction from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They upped it, and started with the slurs and the cockiness. Like their poop don't stink, right?
Yeah.
Attitude.
Mm-hmm.
So when I jumped up there, they're acting like we all like gang piled on them. That isn't what happened. I didn't raise my voice one time. I asked her what happened to the 20K. That's what I asked her.
Lots of question.
Right. She didn't want to answer that. She kept deflecting, right? Mm-hmm. And then Moon came up and it got a little crazy between them, but that wasn't the rest of us. You know what I mean? It's not like it was a group effort behind the scenes to attack Hooker. No. That didn't happen at all. And the way they're portraying it, making her this victim, when just a few hours before that, she was on Amber's panel talking like, you just give me the word, Amber, and I'll take liking out the game.
Yeah, she talks tough, and then she goes on the attack, and then she gets a small bit back, and then they're like, "Oh, poor Hooker." No. Let's not even do that.
Right. And it's like, they're like, oh, well, Scotty's back in the Legion. No, I'm not. But right is right and wrong is wrong, you know?
Right.
And I'm capable of distinguishing between those, you know, for myself. I don't need a leader to tell me what's right and what's wrong, like a lot of people out here seem to need. And she has been wrong about the things she has said about you, Robbie, and the constant attacks on liking about things that she's just parroting. You know what I mean? It's not even her experiences with him. It's not she had never had a reason to dislike him other than other people did.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's one of my main issues with Hooker.
Think about it.
Is,
it was Natasha, then it was you, and then other people. She never has like any real reason to dislike me. You know, we didn't have a history or a past or anything like that.
Right. And honestly, like the time when Jamie and I started having our issues, a lot of it, like, I'm not going to say that's the reason, but a lot of what was going on that people didn't see was I had Hooker in my ear constantly telling me how disrespectful he was to me and how I needed to stand up for myself and get a backbone, and how are you going to let him speak to you? You know what I mean? Like,
that's manipulation. What's ironic is Hooker said that I was manipulating Alicia. No, she's manipulating people.
Well, also, I wanted to point out too that, and I wanted to say thank you, because I don't know how to get a hold of Moon, so I text Lycan last night. But thank you for saying that, because immediately after, Moon said, you know, you sit there and call Robbie the F word all the time, and Hooker's response was, yep. So right there, that, you know, they immediately go after and complain about being called what they were called.
Right.
But, you know, they're doing the same thing and completely okay with it. Not only that, but Hooker has told Scotty she's going to send her brother to beat Lycan up. She's also told Scotty, ooh, watch what I do to Robbie next. I don't know exactly how she worded it, but stuff like that.
Yeah, she frequently tosses out intimidation tactic like things, you know, to try to scare people. You know, tries to act all big and bad like she's some fucking mafia grandma, you know. And then when she gets a little bit back, she's like, "Oh, the poor Hooker." No. Don't even try it.
Yeah, and I've tried. I mean, even after our falling out and when they doxed that bus and everything, I tried emailing them to reset. I've even recently reached out to someone and be like, dude, can you tell him I just want to squash it? Hooker's not interested in that. And there's a pattern, like you guys were just saying, started with Natasha. And then if people talk to anybody that she talks to, just like I'm saying now, she's going to turn on Alicia because Alicia's nice to people she doesn't like. That's how Hooker operates. She doesn't want to hear your reasoning. She doesn't want to talk about it. She wants you to pick her side. And it's an insecurity she has. It's a lot different than just anybody else where, you know, there's people going real life on each other and stuff. Hooker literally will drop somebody just for talking to somebody that called her a bitch or something, you know.
And she's very sanctimonious, and it's unauthentic in my opinion, because her original issue with me supposedly was that I had played a video where these guys were arguing, right? Two straight guys, and one of them called the other one the F-bomb, right?
She's so fucking hypocritical.
Right.
What the fuck?
So,
why is it only okay for her to use homosexual slurs and shit?
Well, then I pointed out to her, you know, when she was in my chat, like acting the fool about it. I said, well, how is that any different than you calling Lycan what you call him daily, going at him? Explain to me how that is any different or any more wrong than you using his sexuality to go at him, right?
Yeah.
Like I was trying to point out to her.
They do it to Robbie too. They call him the F slur all the time.
Right. And this was before she had even done that. You know what I mean? This was just over the little peanut stuff and her constantly calling you the F-bomb. Like when you would come on that panel that I was on with Granny and Warren, and then all of a sudden Hooker had to jump up there. And all she did the entire time that you were on the panel while you and I were trying to discuss stuff was scream at you and holler little peanut and this and that. And it started to get on my nerves, even though I was friends with her at the time, because I couldn't even talk, you know, because I am soft-spoken and it's hard for people to hear me when I have this crazy lesbian screaming little peanut at the top of her lungs.
Oh no, you
over
said
and over and
lesbian.
over again.
You're being homophobic. You said lesbian.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, here's
You know,
the thing, Scotty, and you know, at the expense of being nice to you, you're actually capable of having an intelligent conversation. You know, you can talk a lot of trash and take things too far, but you actually have an intellect, whereas Hooker does not. So,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
And it started, that's what started to get on my nerves. It was like, she expected me to follow these rules that she wasn't following herself, and then to sit there and tell me that I was being transphobic and homophobic because I called her out for being a hypocrite. You know, well, she's allowed to do that because she's gay.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean? No, not when you're using it for the exact same reason that those guys in that video was using it. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter what your sexuality is. When you use those words to attack somebody,
It's hateful.
It is, and it isn't different because of who you fall in love with or who you're attracted to. That makes it no different, in my opinion.
In fact,
and I would be a hypocrite if I said it did. You know,
right? And it's the same thing as the N-word. Frankly, you know, the N-word is wrong to say no matter in what context because it's a hateful word to use, right?
Right. Well,
and I even heard them say that Moon was just claiming to be bisexual, so she had the excuse to call them
projection. Projection.
Yes. I was like, well, who are you to doubt what she says is her sexuality? Wow, like if someone was to do that to you, you would be out here virtue signaling like a mofo right now.
That is a strange combination of virtue signaling, gatekeeping, and projection all rolled up into one. That's amazing. So here, I'm going to just say for the record, when it comes to Hooker, I don't dislike her because she's a lesbian. I dislike her because she's ignorant and she's stupid. Oh, and she's a hypocrite. That's it.
Yeah, and she's also, there's no loyalty in her at all, right? Like, the way that she turned on me was so odd and out of the blue.
Well,
and there was no rhyme or reason.
Look at her past, right? Look at her track record. She turned on Natasha Cooper. She turned on you. I'm sure she'll turn on her current loyalties too at some point.
She turned on me because of you, Lycan.
Right, and you.
But see, you don't see. I see the comparison with like African Americans and stuff, but you don't see African Americans calling each other the N-word out of hatred. I never do.
Right.
But, you know, it's a term of endearment that they're taking the hate out of the word.
Right.
Gay people, we don't do that. That's not really a thing. You know.
Yeah, they don't say like, "Hey, what's up, my homo?" Like they don't.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we may say, "Hey, queen," or you know, whatever.
Right.
And that's not if we hate somebody. If we hate someone, we call them a cunt.
Right.
You know, but she did that to be hateful. And another double standard that they have is recently Manda and Hooker were talking. They were saying, and Robbie talked about Amanda's deceased mom and said he's going to come inside of her and punch her in the stomach afterwards. And then, you know, like have sex with her dead body and punch it and have the semen come out of her mouth. They're not saying the full story. They support this guy called The Settlement, and they were going to bat for him. And I said, what if he said this? Would it be the same? And that's what I said. And they're perfectly
let me just
fine.
say that guy says literally everything, like every word. I don't know, maybe if he's earned some kind of troll clout or something, but he's just allowed to get away with anything. Maybe because they realize he's trash and there's no standards for him put in place. So he just says whatever, and they're like, yeah, I guess I'll like this guy. Or I think honestly, I think it's like the bully mentality. Like they think if they align with this guy, they'll have some protection or something, which is kind of hypocritical, because they, you know, it goes against the whole strong, independent woman narrative, you know, that whole trope.
Right. But I didn't just say that like out of nowhere. I was proving a point. Like they were over there and they still to this day fully support him. And is that the guy named Brett? Is that him?
Yeah.
They were just talking about him last night. Where are you at? We love Brett. It's like, oh, well, it's okay for him to say it, but it's not okay for me to give you an example of what you support. And it wouldn't be okay if he said that about your own loved ones. So they don't say the whole narrative of where I was going with that.
And another thing, they love to bring up that my daughter is gay and use that to try to make it look like I'm supporting people who are against gay people. You know, number one, you don't need to speak on my kid. I do not come out here and make my children my content, and I never have. You know what I mean? Number two, I am not homophobic. You do not hear me out here using gay slurs. You don't see me attacking people with gay slurs. I don't do that. You know what I mean? I don't care what other people's behaviors are, because I'm no one's mommy out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, quit trying to use the fact that I am the mother of a gay child as a way to demean me to the public. You know what I mean? That has absolutely shit to do with what happened between her and Moon. But yet she's going to say, oh, Scotty supports everything that Moon called me, and that's messed up because she has a gay child. Well, Moon wasn't out here calling my child anything. So what does my child have to do with what happened between you and Moon? Nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, absolutely nothing.
Did Moon actually use any like hateful slurs?
I think
she said the D word.
I don't think she did. Yeah, okay, she did. She used the D word. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, look, one of my favorite parts of that stream is when Hooker thought she was being all like, I ain't like all high above men. She's like, I ain't never tried to screw no man. And you were like, wait, weren't you married and have kids?
Yeah. And I was like, aren't you still technically married to a man?
Yeah.
Right. You know, if it was not against TOS, I would call her that word, because she calls Robbie the F slur. Fuck her.
Yeah, and you know, she's proud
I'm
of
a big
that.
proponent of fair is fair, you know.
And then she makes that comment. Did you hear the comment she made? Well, Scotty knows better, and like tried to somehow use our former friendship and thing, like information that we had shared with each other, to try to shame me or something. I'm not going to take up for you, woman, when you have done to me and said things about my kids that you've said out here. That's dead. That's never going to happen. I don't care what anyone says to you. They can call you the D word 24/7. They can make channels dedicated to solely calling you out your name. And I don't care.
Well, I mean, they'd done the same thing, even, you know, with the doxing and stuff like that. And then they complained when I came at them with the same energy, which I did it very subtle. It wasn't even, I didn't even put their names in it or anything. But I gave them exactly what they did to me. It wasn't right for me to do, but that's what I did. And then Manda continues to say that I passed around pictures of her kids behind the scenes, just like AJ does. And it's like, dude, no. You want to see the video I made of Manda? This is who she says is not her. This. I covered up her face and everything. And she says that's her niece. And look, there were kids originally in the bottom of that picture. They're not there. That's it. And that's what they're saying. Like, that was a dox. Oh my God. I'm like, dude, no, I could have been way more mean. It was just a knock at her looks. And it was me.
Yeah, that was her. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? That's another thing that aggravates me. The way that they come, I think she said that, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
But the way that they come out here and act like it's so wrong, you know, when somebody does something to them, when 9 times out of 10 it's clapback for something that they themselves have done. I mean, at least when I come out here and people attack me, I don't sit there and act like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. When I know for a fact that I have been dogging that person for months. I'm not surprised when they come back at me and give me the same energy. That's silly to me.
Yeah.
Think about this. Has Hooker ever given a good argument for anything out here? Or has she just
No.
like attacked people for their sexual orientation or their looks or their their genitals? What else? What does she say that's so profound? Or like, did she ever make a good point on anything?
Like, and I've never heard her. That's why when you were coming up on my panel that one time, I was like, oh, this could be good, because I know you're capable from my own experience of having, I mean, look at you and Scotty right now, having like a logical conversation. And, she jumped off so quick because she is aware that she's not going to do that. It's just
She's
going to be
ill-equipped.
looking at, yeah.
She's
over and
ill-equipped
over.
mentally to handle an intelligent conversation. And I think that she might be slightly intimidated by me, hence why maybe she feels, threatened by me, because I am capable of kind of slowing down and having a normal conversation, and she's not really. For her,
She isn't.
it's like
At all.
100% mapped to her ego, like what she's willing to talk about,
Well, and what Mary's saying, saying she'd never use a slur. I mean, I've used all sorts of name calling, including slurs, when I've been angry in the moment. It happens, I think, to everybody. And that's what's different about Moon's situation and them is you don't hear Moon calling them these slurs every time she refers to them or calling them fairy or whatever. It came out in the moment of anger. Literally every time they talk about Lycan or me, it's gay, 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 gay.
Yeah,
Like,
because they think that's an easy way to get to me, as if that's going to shut me up or trigger me or something.
right. And with me, I'm like, I am gay. Like, even if you called me flaming fairy, like, what, like you said, what is your logical argument? Like, what makes me so terrible?
Right. And I did that yesterday on Alicia's panel. I actually slowed down. I was like, yeah, don't play into her games. Let's see if we can actually ask her some rational questions. Let's see if she can answer them. And when I asked her the questions, she refused to answer. Her and Manda, they're incapable of it. Like, you can't just ask them like a normal question. They're going to deflect. They're going to try to hold it against you, like whatever. They have no intellect whatsoever.
Yeah. And I will say what Natalie's saying, that Manda is like a little more level-headed, because I had like a misunderstanding with her years ago over the mommy ramblings thing, and she took the opportunity to speak to me offline and stuff. So
Yeah.
she is a little bit more reasonable, but you have to remember she's with somebody who even gets angry and jealous over people on the internet talking to people she doesn't like. So I can only imagine what Manda's position is, like being in an actual relationship with somebody like that.
She's more rational and level-headed, true. But I also think that she just doesn't value that kind of interaction. Like, she values more like the whole tough guy antics thing, which is why she kind of defers to Hooker and allows her to do her fuck shit. It's like, yeah, well, I could slow down and have a normal conversation, but I'm not going to do that because fuck you, because my loyalties are here and here and here,
Yeah. And, she often says, I don't control what Hooker says. And yeah, we're all individuals, but I mean, they're a duo every time. They're a, paired deal every time they go live. It's both of them. You do have the opportunity to be like, babe, like they call each other. That's not okay. Don't say that. But no, you allow it. And then you just act like it can't be put back on you when you're doing nothing to fix it. And then you do the same thing, I don't know what stream it was, but Manda screamed out the F word to you. I heard that recently. It was on one of their streams. And then she's like, I'm sorry. I'm just upset. You guys forgive me. And it's like, how come you can't forgive people when they're upset?
Right.
Sorry, Scotty.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and another thing, the way that she tries to body shame me, it's like, seriously, calling me fat quit making me cry in like 3rd grade, ladies. So you're going to have to come up with something a little bit more original than that, because I will be fat all day long I still look better than both of you put together. You know
It's
what I'm
not even
saying? Like,
that.
don't
It's
get it twisted.
you're
I
confident
that kind
enough
of
to show
stuff,
yourself. She's not.
right? Without filters. I don't have to look like a friggin' cartoon or be missing an eyeball to post a picture of myself out here or go live on a cam. Like that's I have never once came out here and claimed to be a supermodel. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not if that's all you've got to come at me with, that just shows me that you're not capable of arguing with me at a level to where I'm going to end up having any sort of respect for you as an opponent.
It's
You
an
know?
ad hominem attack.
Yeah.
Not that they know what that is. They don't even know what a logical fallacy is, but I digress.
Well, Lycan and I have had the conversation of, people going on camera and stuff before. And the only reason, as far as live streaming goes, like in real time, is when they say the stuff that Hooker and Manda say, talking about people's looks, calling people fat or whatever. But literally, if that camera was turned on, the whole tone I would be interested to see the tone change when they go on camera live. Because Manda, I've seen do videos, but it's always like Snapchat filters and stuff. I'd be very interested to see what their demeanor is like, going off the same way they do, but in real time on camera. Because it's even nerve-wracking enough sometimes when you're off camera going live. And it's very easy to run your mouth about other people's looks.
Yeah, and Hooker and Manda are not especially creative at it, which is why they lack the views and the base, that would, come on to a stream to enjoy that kind of content. They're not very creative with their roasting. They're very kind of one-dimensional, which is why I don't really take them seriously.
Yeah, and every time I hear the word, they'll often go back to, these people lack talent and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, they completely overlook the time it takes to put into entertaining people with edited videos or even music, whether people listen to it or not. Like they overlook that and they just think that you're on talking about them 24/7.
Hooker says that people lack talent.
Oh, both of them do. Yeah. Or
they
just
say
make
that
content and it's like,
they
dude, I
say
could make
people
up
lack
parody
talent.
content
Yeah.
out of my head.
That is something.
Yeah. Who else said? Oh, GLM, I think, said the same thing. And I'm like, really?
Okay. Well,
you mean GLM with her 6 viewers and videos where she's got her finger over the camera? That
Yeah.
GLM?
Yeah. She actually just got out of YouTube jail.
Yeah, GLM, she's actually somewhat talented and can be witty, and even entertaining. The problem is she's also crazy,
Yeah, I think take the anger out of it, and I could see that she could be like a fun person to listen to. It's just often like it seems like her conversation she has it usually comes from a place of anger.
Yeah. Yes.
Like every time.
Yep.
The problem with GLM is that she gets triggered and she overcompensates. So
yeah,
if you trigger her, she will do a live or make a post to where she goes so low that it reveals who she is as a person. And who she is as a person is not normal, right? Like she lets her mental illness hang out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's disturbing. She has done lives and said things. She has said that I am the daughter of Satan and that I have no soul and that I'm a succubus that sucks the souls out of men. None of these things are true, right?
Well, maybe that last one was true.
Maybe a little. But it's just like you're going to an extent that you're just making yourself look bad instead of me, right? Because nobody's going to believe that I am actually, the daughter of Satan. You know what I mean? So you've taken it to an extent that your crazy's hanging out, sissy. You need to pull that back in a little.
Only the most stringent of, diehard Christians would even take in anything like that. But she did the same to me. And also Lindsay. She literally because I called myself a Demon Legion, I guess she, her boner was reactivated for me, and she started coming after me a bit. It's like, look, the demon, he's live again, whatever, talking about he's being stalked by a black man or something like that. And then she even went to Lindsay's channel. It's like, look, demon horns. See, I told you they're the devil. It's just ridiculous.
Well, yeah, she does the same to me. I'm a demon because I'm homosexual and I'm possessed. And she'll write in, like today, she tagged me and wrote, she calls me gay Robbie, but since she goes to YouTube jail, she spells it Ghey. And I'm thinking to myself, again, that's not an insult, but it's women like you that make me really happy that I'm gay because you're disgusting.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, can I also just impress, like, there's one part in the Bible I think she, constantly forgets, and that's not judging people lest ye be judged. And also, I think only God can judge people. If she says it's God loves me, well, yes, but God also judges you. So as he judges everybody. So it's not any one person's job to judge anyone else. So,
well, how many times has Pastor Mill quoted our rants or maybe things we've said that have been vulgar, but he fully supports GLM and she's this amazing Christian, and the words that come out of her mouth, I'm like, what?
Yeah, he's another whack job.
I know Scotty likes him, and he does have likable qualities. I mean, I think everyone does, and sometimes I've watched him and just laughed, kind of like I do Captain Kangaroo. But it's
does she really like him, or does she only hate the same people he hates?
Who?
No,
Scotty?
I mean, I like him. He's always been nice to me, though. Like, I've never had any issues with him, so I don't have a reason to dislike him. Like, I don't have I don't hold all the same views that he does, obviously, but I've never had any issues with. He's always been polite to me when I've interacted with him. So
he's been nice to me before too. It's so funny how, like, you can't keep up who likes you and who doesn't, because you'll see people like come in that were talking shit about you a week ago. Even subscribers, you're like, oh, hey, I thought you hated me. I don't know what changed because I don't even fucking know you, but okay.
And I have actually warned him about GLM before.
I don't think
I was like, I understand that you may think that she is one way, but I can promise you she isn't. But hey, everyone has to learn about that woman on their own, and I will leave that to you. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Actually, her post, I think today, was talking about Lycan, and she's like, how could he be talking to Lycan who doxed his job? And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, bitch. Aren't you like this hardcore Christian? Where the fuck, you don't understand forgiveness? Is that what you're saying? Like, you don't understand people getting along and getting over shit? That's your problem.
Well, did she forget that she's the one that doxed when I was working at Burger King for the first time?
Well, there you go.
Does she forget those things? She's got a very convenient memory.
Right.
And I think that MJ Bodie actually coined the best nickname for her, and that would be Ungodly Loves Me. Because she's not Christ-like in any of the actions I've seen her have out here at all. And I have known about her and dealt with her for 4 or 5 years now. Like, I was around when her and Lycan first started talking and were friendly with each other. And I watched that whole fallout and seen the summer of endless videos about Lycan from her that got, I mean, there was one point where she like had little action figures out and was on the floor playing, pretending that he was one of the action figures, and some of the other ones was her and some other people in the community. And she was doing like a whole little role play with these little plastic action figures.
That's dedication.
I'm telling you what. And it just got really odd. That was also the summer of the rap wars. Yeah. So she kept making rap videos to him. It was bizarre.
Well, see, about the religion stuff too, I get like talking about your religion and sharing it for like, so that other people can see the positive experience you've had. Cause that's the only reason I ever talk about like my relationship. Cause I like sharing and showing people, you know, that anybody can be loved. But these people, like, they don't do it like that. They don't share the love of Christ, so to speak. It's like always, this is what's wrong with you, and you're this and that. Like, you're never going to change it. It's like, that's not fucking sharing Christ's love, dude. It's bullshit. That's why I don't go based off the Bible. I love it. There's a lot of good stories and stuff, and I could learn some stuff, but that's not everything we need to know. You're going to learn the shit in your own life. Just like if you're reading a, you know, directions, how to build an entertainment center from freaking IKEA or whatever the fuck it's called. Normally you're going to do like, okay, well, I'm not doing it like that. I'll do it like this, but it'll still hold up. You know, that's the way I look at the Bible. So don't fucking tell me how to exist in the world. You exist over there, and I've been existing for almost 42 years for a damn good fucking reason. So mind your own business when it comes to that shit.
Well, what baffles me is that, you know, she wants this to call you all these names and talk about your sexuality and as it relates to your religious beliefs. But yet she has come out here several times and said she's bisexual. So how does that add up in her head? Is it only a sin if you're a man to be homosexual? Is it only a sin if you are, you know, only homosexual and not heterosexual as well? Like, how does that, I don't know. She just makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, no, and they'll also say stuff, not just them, but a lot of other people, you know, he's not a Christian because he's gay, or he's not a Christian because of the things he said. And I'm like, but that's based on what you think it takes to be in a relationship with God. That's not, I don't see like, oh, I can't do this. Like, God knows I'm human. He knows that. So I don't need you to know that I'm human or explain things to you to like decide my fate. That's between me and God. And that's your beliefs that I can't be saved if I'm a Christian or whatever. But I don't believe that. So I don't need to go by those rules if I don't fucking believe it. You do. It's like they put out their list of rules and expect you to go by it. And it's like, yeah, we have different beliefs. Hey, Drama Divides.
I have very, like, I don't think that the Bible was, I don't know. I have very different views on that. I don't think the Bible is something that is a set of instructions, like you said. Well, number one, it wasn't written by God. You know what I mean? It was written by man, and man is fallible. Man, you know, we make mistakes. We interpret things wrong sometimes. So I honestly believe that it is open to interpretation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that that's like set in stone the way that some people do. And I do believe that Christianity has been used as an excuse to slaughter more people than any other belief I think mankind has ever held. So I can see both edges of the sword with this argument, right? Like, a lot of people, not just in modern times, but historically, have used their faith as an excuse, as a reason to harm others because they're different than they are. And to me, that is more of a sin against God, the God that I know, than falling in love with someone who's the same sex as you. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Open to interpretation. But I think it's way more sinful to use your religion and give your God the credit for massacring an entire community of people. You know what I mean? Than it is to fall in love with a woman, or, you know, for a man to fall in love with a man. Like, I don't see those two as equal. And the fact that so many people,
why should we take your opinion on this when you're literally the daughter of Satan?
I mean, who better to take it from? I got an N from, you know, one of the big guys in the game. I've got insider knowledge on this. No.
But it's funny. It's like we have to go by other people's morals, or else, you know, they're like, do it my way or I'm going to be offended. Dude, you could do shit your own way. And like, I may get annoyed by it, but like, who the fuck am I to tell you what to do? I'm going to share my experience to be like, hey, this really helped me. It may be able to help
Yeah.
you, take it or leave it. But I'm not going to be like, if you don't listen to my advice, you're going to go to hell. Because I personally don't even believe in an actual eternal hell. I believe it's a state of being and a state of mind until I believe it's an eternal thing that we could always go to if our mind goes there and we need to learn something. But I don't believe in it like a permanent, somebody being permanently burned. That just seems
doomed.
irrational.
Yeah, I know. And I don't know. And religion is such a touchy subject, right? Like most people don't speak about religion, but it doesn't bother me to speak about religion because it took me a long time to figure out what I believed in. And I didn't find that answer in the Bible. I'll just be honest about it. So I respect others' opinions and their viewpoints and their right to believe what they want, but I expect that same in return, right? Like I want that respect given to me as well. Like I don't think that anyone should put each other down because of what they believe, because that's a personal relationship we all have with our higher power, and it shouldn't be anyone else's right to judge that.
No, and I agree, Mary. They are doing the devil's work. And infamous truth teller said demons go to church all the time. Some of the best gossip you will get from a church. Those church ladies that sit around and fan themselves off. Oh yeah, they ain't just talking about Jesus. They're talking about you. They're talking shit. But see, I like having conversations like that. I know a lot of people, they get defensive and like, no, you're wrong. I like hearing people's beliefs. Even if you believe the earth is flat, I'm like, I'm very curious to see why you think that. I'm not going to judge you for it,
Right. Well, I mean, I don't think the earth is flat, but
me neither.
Yeah. And I might judge a little, maybe not judge, but
I'll laugh and whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, no, fuck you, and get all angry about it. Even with politics, the only time I get that way is when people are so hateful about it and they're like, nope, or they'll just block you because you're a Trump supporter or whatever. It's like, okay, well, fuck you too, dude. That doesn't, like, I'm open to everybody's opinion with everything. But if you're going to be a dick about it, yeah, fuck you too. Hey, Gladys.
Right. And I was raised in a very strict church. Like my grandparents were preachers. My father was a former preacher. It was like the women had to have long hair and wear skirts to their ankles and had to be completely subservient to the men. And I was taught that expressing myself was wrong, that having my own opinion on things and like trying to look at the knowledge of the situation and make my own decision, that was wrong. I was just supposed to do what I was told to do and not ask questions. And that never worked for me. Even as a child, it felt like wrong. Like I had these questions and I wanted answers for them. Things that I saw that didn't quite add up, I wanted to know why, and I felt like just because I'm a woman, why am I not allowed to ask those questions? Like that never sat well with me. And when I was about 13, I think was when I really realized that most of like churches and formal religions and stuff are full of hypocrites. And it's the furthest thing from what I feel was Christ's word and his what he wanted us to do as people and humans to each other as you could get. So that's when I kind of veered off and started doing my own thing, because most formal religions and the churches that they have are just made to control people. In my opinion. And those people can be some of the meanest, cruelest humans you will ever meet in this life.
I never saw the movie, but what's the movie with Sigourney Weaver where they're lying to this community saying if you leave, there's monsters, you'll die and shit, and then
The
they
Village.
yeah, I've never seen it, but I've heard the concept. It reminds me also of that movie where the guy traps the girl in the basement and she thinks he's lying about the world ending and stuff. It's kind of like
Yeah,
that. It's like people try to scare you into figuring out the truth for yourself, and you're not going to learn unless you experience it. So if you tell me, Robbie, believe, or you're going to burn right now, and then I get scared into it, that's not really a belief. I'm just scared. But I don't
right.
actually believe that because I don't know for sure. So people are like mistaking God's fucking wisdom and shit and taking it for granted, because do you really think he's going to be like, okay, he's scared. He doesn't actually believe I died on the cross, but he's going to heaven. Now, this person that doesn't believe, they're going to hell. That's not the way it fucking works. It's
Right.
dumb, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It is. And well, it's like Plato's, like the allegory of the cave. It's the same principle, right? Where you have these people who have lived in a cave. So all they know about the world is the shadows that they've seen on the wall, right? From the fire and the light outside. So then when one of them goes outside and is like, guys, this isn't what we thought it was. It's actually this. And the people don't believe them and they think that they're a heretic. And it's the same principle, right? Like there's been people who have figured this out since ancient Greek times. You know what I mean? Like it's you have to, I think, look for answers yourself. I don't think there's ever going to be anyone that gives you all the answers. I don't think a book is going to give you all the answers. I don't think a formal religion or a sect or a cult is going to give you all the answers.
Like the Legion, that cult.
Yeah, like the Legion. Yeah.
Exactly.
you
I
you
wondered what
have to
happened
you
to you,
have to
like,
look for the answers yourself, right?
That's why Scotty left the Legion, because she wanted to find enlightenment on her own.
I did. I needed to be enlightened. I had questions that he just refused to answer. He was just like, do what I say. Do what
Yep.
I say.
I kept
Yep.
deflecting, every time she would ask, like, so what's the meaning, Father? And I just like, just do your work.
Right. And when I would ask too many questions, he'd like send me to my room without dessert. It was awful, Robbie. It was
Oh,
awful.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
typical.
So what do you guys think that, like, I mean, because I'm proud of you guys for being like cordial and stuff. Do you think that maybe in the future there'll be more conversation that's positive between you two?
No,
Ah! Jesus Christ, way to be optimistic. No,
this
fuck
is
that.
it. This is it. This is all you get.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. We were being kind. Now, I mean, I've never hated Jamie. And I think people forget that at one time we were really good friends. And that only happens in this life, right? If you have something in common, if you can talk and enjoy those conversations. So I don't think it's not a miracle that he and I are able to sit up on a panel and have a discussion and not get foul with each other, right? Like time heals wounds. That's a saying for a reason. But there, I
Are you
mean,
saying there's a chance?
I think that people
No.
have made it into something bigger than what either one of us intended it to be. And I don't know. I mean, I don't hate him. I will say that. And I've done a lot of stuff to him. He's done a lot of stuff to me. But even with all that, I don't have hate in my heart for him. So I guess that's a positive thing, because at one time I wouldn't have answered that the same, so
Like
I
him?
don't know.
Would you like to add your input? Like a therapist.
It's always better to be what's the word I'm thinking of?
Gay?
Apathetic. Yeah, or ambivalent than to have hate in your heart for people.
I don't know what either one of those words mean.
It just
Apathetic,
means
like
you don't
sympathetic?
like you don't care. Like you just whatever. I'll take him or leave him.
What's the next word you said?
Ambivalent.
Yeah, what is that?
It's basically the same thing. Like you just
Oh.
don't care. Sally Ann will forever have hate in her heart for me, however. So there's that.
Fuck you, Sally Ann.
I mean, look, I've definitely probably hated Scotty at one point. I don't now because she mostly leaves me alone. So it's whatever. You know, for me, I'm mostly like I hate the people who constantly go at me. So as soon as that stops happening, it kind of like just falls off. You know, like okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I like for stuff like that to happen, kind of like the whole May thing that happened the other day is, I mean, it just goes to show because we've seen a lot of banter back and forth between you two. And it kind of goes to show like when we're really angry in the moment, even if that moment lasts for months or a year or longer, it could so easily just dissolve. And I think a lot of us forget that when a new fight starts. You know, we get angry, and there's so many people right now where like, I'm not gonna lie, if I saw them get hit by a car, I might pull out some popcorn in a lawn chair.
Mm-hmm.
But down the road, I'd be like, God, I can't believe I ever even had that thought about them, you know, because it doesn't even matter at this point.
Yeah.
So the mattering part, you have to like coach yourself through.
People need time, I think, to get over stuff, and they also need to not take it all out on YouTube because that doesn't help anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're both Taurus, so we're both stubborn as hell. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
so that doesn't help the situation either. And I mean, I'm not so ashamed to admit that I was in a really bad place when all this started between he and I,
Yeah,
and
I
like
remember that.
mentally. You know, I was going through a lot. I had lost my mom, my niece, my dad. My marriage had fallen apart. I was going through a lot. And I think that it was really easy for me to take some of that out on him because he was there, you know, and he was someone that I interacted with daily. And it was easier for me to take it out on him than it was for me to take it out on people that I saw every day, right?
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, I could just put my phone down and not have to deal with my actions and
Right.
things I had said and done to him, right? And I'm not going to sit here and act like I was completely justified for things that I said and did to Jamie because I wasn't, and it was wrong, you know? But I
Look,
wasn't always the one who did things wrong. Like he did things to me too. I think it was just heightened. My reaction to it was heightened because I was emotionally drained. Does that make sense? I didn't have much to give anymore. And I was acting out of character, very, very much so out of character than who I really am. You know, like
yeah.
I was just in a really bad place. And I've worked on that. I've worked on myself. I've healed a lot and gotten back to who more of who I am as a person, like genuinely who I am. And I take time to think a little bit more now. I'm not gonna lie, like I react. I have a temper. I come out here and react all the time.
We
And
all do that, though. I mean,
right.
you
But
had
I
the
mean,
ability.
even Jamie used to tell people all the time when we were friends, like my bark is bigger than my bite. I might threaten a lot, but at the end of the day, I don't have the heart to actually do harmful things to people as a general rule. I'm not nasty like that. I don't want to hurt anyone. And I think back then I wanted to hurt people. I wanted to hurt everyone I could because I was in so much pain myself. Like I needed to spread it around, I guess. And I know that sounds horrible, but
No,
and I'm not trying to make excuses for my behavior, but I hope that maybe that can help you understand a little more why I was acting the way I acted, why I did the things I did. I was just in a lot of pain.
like projecting, would that be it?
Yeah, kind of, I guess.
Okay.
Well, when you
Kinda.
project, you get the eject, Scotty. Okay.
Right.
Well, that's big to even say that because not a lot of people can. I mean, it takes swallowing your pride and just explaining stuff to people of, because obviously I think everybody, whether we're hurting and going through stuff or just offended, we do say things out of anger. And a lot of the times people are unforgiving of that and they don't recognize and see like, okay, they're moving on, they're willing, they're changing. It's like they always want to see you in that bad light. And
Mhm.
to me, that's just, I
Yeah.
mean, there people like that are never going to move on. I think there's a lot more going on in their head than just the person they're fighting with.
Right.
And it feels good
Well,
to go after
they're
people.
fighting themselves at the same time. That's why. They're
Yeah,
they're not really even fighting with you. They're fighting with themselves. And
exactly. Like Scotty just said, like,
yeah.
kind of projecting that.
And Scotty, I would just like to say that was very honest, kind of vulnerable, what y'all said just there.
Yeah.
And I thank you for saying all that because you proved me right about everything I've been saying about you for the last 2 years.
Thank you, motherfucking Taurus.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, not everything. Not everything. But I mean,
90%.
and I do believe, and you don't have to agree with me, but I think that there were outside factors
Mm-hmm.
for both of us that were egging us on to go
Oh,
at
yeah.
each other.
Sure.
You know? Yeah. And
YouTube is like a big
I
giant human experiment,
right. Yeah. And I don't think that it would have gotten as nasty as it did if it would have just been left up to you and I to decide how we reacted to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't think either one of us would have gotten as nasty with the other because we were friends at one time and we did care about each other as humans, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would have gotten as bad as it did if we didn't have these outside
It's all
voices in our heads.
It's all because of Natasha Cooper, that fucking bitch.
Right. If you never would have came over here, if you never would have
Love
came
you,
over
Natasha. Well, and also, like you said, there's other factors. So when you're going through shit like that and you're already mad at one person and then you're like, maybe feel like either teamed up or ganged up or there's more people going at it, of course, you're going to direct that anger towards the one person you're mad at. And it's just like building bullets,
Yeah.
collecting
Yeah.
them because you feel more attacked rather than it just being personal between the two of you. And the same goes for Lycan, people that go to bat for you or whatever. It's all the outside factors make it way worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm stubborn as a mule. I'll be the first to admit to that. And once I get set on a path of destruction, I'm not going to veer off of it in the moment, at least. Right. But I mean, I don't want to have to fight with Jamie for the rest of my life. Like I don't. And like, I don't know. I just got caught up in shit, and that happens in life sometimes. And then one day you wake up and you're like, why was I mad again? And
Right.
and by that time there's been so much said and done, it's just too late to reel it back in. And I don't know. I think
never
maybe
too late. Never too late,
right,
in my opinion.
right.
But whatever.
I think maybe if things had been different, if I wouldn't have been in the headspace I was, if it wouldn't have been for coming over to the Karama community and having this whole brand new element introduced into our community that neither one of us really had experienced before. Because where we used to hang out, pretty much you could say and do whatever you wanted, and there wasn't anyone there like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said that. You know what I mean? Like, it was way more laid back and you could say pretty much anything you wanted, and it wasn't like a clutch your pearls kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
it was
I
more
think
fun back then.
Yeah, I
Do you
think
remember when Paul and Fizzin came on the panel and were just like bashing each other back and forth?
Yeah, Yeah, I
Like,
think that's
and
that
I'll be right
clip,
back.
wasn't it, that you played,
Yeah, I
where
think
I
so.
was talking about that Preto incident, and
Yeah,
yeah, and not the same stream,
I can't remember. I did
because
so
it
many
was when
fucking things.
Fizzin was bragging about like his girlfriend that had his baby was like 16 or 17 when they hooked up, and he was in his late 20s or something, and we were all
Oh,
like,
yeah,
dude, don't admit that in public. Like,
right.
that's don't do you not realize that that's like wrong? Like,
Hmm.
so yeah, I do remember that one. We were all just like trying to explain to him why you don't go online and say things like that.
Right.
Yeah. But we did have fun back then, and it was way more laid back, and Krama's not like that.
No, they just
It's just not.
and they
Yeah.
they virtue signal about, oh, he said this, he said that, she said this, and then they're all hypocrites. They all do the same fucking shit. I can't stand it.
Right. Right. I know. And I think that's why no one has ever really understood me or you over here, is because things like that, that's not our first instinct to clutch our pearls, and it never has been.
Right.
So I think sometimes that we'll say or do things that we really don't mean to come off as heinous, but
Hmm.
they claim it's heinous, and we're just sitting here like, wait a minute, what? I could go way lower. What are you talking about?
Right.
That was
Right.
that was a
Like,
joke.
right. Like the other night, like I
Right.
did a fairly basic stream, and then I've heard some people go like, and he just he was completely out of line and did this and that. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was a normal response stream. These people are so fucking sensitive, little crybabies over here, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
I know. I think that's why a lot of these women just are never gonna like me, because we're just not the
Yeah.
same.
No.
We're just not, and that's okay. That's okay, but it just is what it is, I guess.
Well, it's not. Well, here's the thing, though. They can be just as fucking cruel, if not more, but they are not willing to face their own dark side. You know,
Right.
to be at peace with it. They all think they're better and they're superior minded and like moral. It's that virtue signaling mindset where they all think they're better people when they're not. They're not
Yeah.
better. They're not more
Right.
moral. None of them are like that, really. They're just pretending to be. They're LARPing.
Yeah, and it kills me the way that they will like call me or you out about something when they have done so much worse,
Yeah,
right?
they're
So
fake.
much worse. Yeah.
They're fake and
And
dishonest about their own shit. It's like, look, if you're gonna be a piece of shit, just be honest about it. You know,
mhm.
don't try to, don't do the fuckery and then be like, I'm a good person. No, you're fucking not. You know, just
Right.
be real. Say, look, I can be a good person, but I could be a real bitch if you really, fuck with me. That's a little bit more honest.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
pretty open about that. Me too. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like
That's why I come out here and say all the time, I'm the bad guy. Like, I just want to establish that. Don't be confused. I will never come out here and be like, I'm such a good person and I was completely justified for what I did to them. And I mean, come on. None of us are good people. If we were good people, none of us would be here entertaining this shit.
right.
We
Will we
just
we'd
be
be
wouldn't.
doing
online?
crafts and
Will we
not
be
talking.
online bashing people for money if we were good people? Come on.
No, of course not.
We're
Right?
talking about
It's
true
not
crime
exactly a
cases.
good person like thing. I mean, priests
Exactly.
they go to church and they hear people's confessions and say, "God bless you, my child." You're not doing the same thing as that priest, okay?
No. And that's why, I mean, when I watch a drama stream, it's kind of like when they end it with no possible resolution, it's kind of like, okay, well, what happens next? It's just the same episode repeating over and over. I
Yep.
like a good drama stream, but then like, and screaming or whatever, and then it coming back around to like, okay, we won't talk about each other, or like at least a resolution offered
Some
or
kind
something.
of resolution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or at least somebody offering, because the main reason that I get the most pissed off at people is when I offer some sort of resolution
Hmm.
and then they turn around and they completely ignore it, but then they keep going, or they say, oh, he's mad that I won't be his friend. I'm like, bitch, I didn't want to be your friend. I just didn't want to keep going, and you won't shut the fuck up. When I literally took the time and swallowed my pride to be like, look, I'm sorry, can we move on? And you're not. That's what fucking pisses me off.
Right.
The reason we came to the Krama community, Josie Joe, is all his fault. I blame him for that. That's all I'm
my
liking.
fault.
Chris
my
Watts.
fault. And Chris Watts was the main reason why I came here. I was like, who's this Chris Watts guy? And then I found Krama. No, that's not right. So I've told this story many times before, but this blind YouTuber named RJ Sandifer, he actually is the first one who found Natasha Cooper, and I guess this entire community. It's interconnected group of people. And she came over, I think, once or twice to his channel, and he constantly talked, because RJ falls in love with all these people. He'll go on about them for hours, he'll gush about them. And so I went over,
that to me a long time ago.
and I checked out her channel and was like, what's this all about? And she was going on a lot about the same stuff that I kind of dealt with at the time, which, just people coming at me for, this and that. And, she was crying, and, so I came up on panel, I consoled her, and the people there immediately liked me. And they all started to sub to me. I got like 100 people subbing to me in like less than an hour. Okay. And I was like, whoa, this is a big community. This is way bigger than anything I'd interacted with before. She had like, I don't know, 800 people watching her stream at the time, something like that. There's a lot of people. And after that, I kind of found a lot of other people around the community. The DeLorean, a few others like Granny, Alicia, what was the other ones? There was a couple other ones I can't. Oh, Vivian at the time. And I just kind of make my way around. And apparently I'd said something in a chat somewhere about Natasha that like she just didn't know how to have fun, or she was too stuffy or something like that. It was just kind of harmless, maybe slightly opinionated, whatever. But that was enough to piss Natasha off that the next stream she did, I came in the chat and she immediately called me out, and she just went full bore against me. And I made a cartoon out of that. A bunch of people, saw it. They loved it. Other people started to kind of come around my channel, and then I started to cover Natasha Cooper for a while. And that's basically how I kind of got myself ingratiated here. It's just because I thought she was, kind of a character. She had also a very interesting past with, alleged scamming and stuff like that. So I had a lot to sink my teeth into. There's a lot of history there. There was racism, scamming, bullying, and all this other stuff. And I was like, this is interesting. So I stayed for a bit because I thought that, there's a lot of good content possibilities. There was a big audience to draw from, and I'm, in the business of making money. So that's why.
Well, a lot of that, I mean, I kind of just like bounce around to different stuff, and we all do different topics or whatever, but it kind of always comes back to this kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But Molly's back on YouTube, by the way, but it just came from that because I make shitty music, and Molly Golightly said stop and just talk. And then I started talking shit. But I don't know if you guys didn't follow me in the first year of my channel. I was very nice all the time. People would make mean videos, and I would be so nice to them. And one day I finally fucking snapped. And they're like, there's the real Robbie. I'm like, yeah, here's the real Robbie when I'm fucking pissed. You've seen the real Robbie when I'm in a good mood. Now you're seeing the bad one, bitch. Take a seat. And ever since
I think the first time I saw you was in the video with you and Limonade, where you guys were dancing and she was drunk and fell off her chair and showed her hoo-ha. So that was the first video I saw of you.
Well, that's not a good introduction.
No, and then you were on Lauren's doing the recovery stream thing. I was in that chat. I saw that. So I thought you were funny. I liked you. I never had an issue with you. So
well, I like to laugh and I like to have fun, and I think it's fun to make fun of it and make fun of yourself too. Just like Lycan's cartoons and stuff. It's fun to show people that maybe don't like you that you don't take it as seriously as maybe they think you do, and you're able to have a laugh even at yourself, like poke fun at yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it all like that seriously that these other people do, and it's almost like they're walking with their traumas like on their shoulders, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, stop taking this shit so damn seriously. If you are really getting traumatized by the content on YouTube, get off the platform, okay? Stop engaging, stop being here if you can't take it. I hate the crybabies. I hate them.
Well, I do too. And, I hear a lot of people, specifically one that says, I hate this place. It's terrible. But you're never going to kick me out. It's like, if I was miserable, I know I go through a lot of shit on here, but it's not enough to make me hate it or want to leave. Obviously, I'm here because I enjoy it for some reason. But if I felt not welcome or any of that, like, I'm not going to hang around a bunch of fucking assholes. Fuck
Right.
that. That's why there's certain channels I'm just like, yeah, I'm not fucking with that.
Yeah,
But it
exactly.
doesn't knock me off YouTube. There's still things that I enjoy that I don't have to focus on those until I feel like my attention needs to be, bring some attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've seen like the way that I've been getting dogpiled on here lately. If I was like some of these other women, I would have done left and never came back. But I have really thick skin. Like, that's never been an issue. I did have a weak moment, and that's what aggravates me when people are like, "Oh, every time Scotty gets flack, she just pretends she's gonna hurt herself." That's not true. You know what I mean? That is not true. When
Dude,
that happened, when I had my breakdown, that was authentic. It was actually happening. It was a real thing. And that is not something that I do to deflect from my own bad behaviors, right? Like, that's the only time I think that I can say I should have just left here. Because I did let everything get to me, but it wasn't just YouTube stuff, right? It was, my life was a mess at the same time.
Well, see,
So,
that's the crazy thing about YouTube is sometimes you can even be rewarded for losing it on here, and that
yeah.
teaches you a very terrible lesson that if I exploit myself for drama and clicks and views, I'll get money for it. It's fucking sick when you think about it.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. And what also, I mean, people that do show like themselves or what they're going through at least, like there's no forgiveness there. Like people are so unforgiving of having a bad moment, even if it's more than a couple of times, or if somebody's a drinker. I mean, can you imagine if a camera followed every single fucking person to the bar every time they drink, how much shit they'd be embarrassed of? Almost every time somebody gets drunk, they wake up and go, oh my God, what did I say last night? We just so happen to do it online, and you're fucking judged for that, and it's held against you forever.
Yeah.
With people like that, I'm like, dude, how about you fucking come on here and be yourself and, just be a human and see how you like it, having videos of you from 4 years ago being pulled up. Like, look at what they said. I'm like, yeah, I was drunk and I was being a fucking dick and I was pissed. What's
Right.
your point?
And even when you apologize, right, and they claim they accept it, they don't. Because as soon as they need to pull that card out and use it against you again, they do.
Right.
They do.
Because
Like,
the internet is forever and it doesn't lose its memory.
mm-hmm.
Well, and then they also say, oh, they apologize, but they're going to do it again, or they're going to do something again. It's like, yeah, it's called being human. Do you think just because somebody apologizes for something, they're not going to make another bad decision at some point? Especially in, communities like this, where it's based on dramatic stuff or interactions, kind of like a reality show. So of course people are going to say mean stuff. And I think it doesn't matter how many times you apologize, you're probably going to do something fucked up again. And whether you apologize about it or not, it's like if you're learning something about it. But people don't see it like that. And they're almost waiting for you to snap again. So they
Mhm.
poke.
Yep, they want it to happen.
Yeah.
They want you to
Yeah.
lose your shit.
Yeah, and why is that? Because we clip
few,
you.
Exactly. There's been very few instances where I've completely lost my shit on here, and every single time that it happened, they replayed it over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, like,
I will give Scotty a tiny bit of credit.
ooh.
You didn't really go to replay that same clip over and over and over, even when you hated me. So
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, I make a lot of mistakes and stuff, but there's some things I just don't do. Like I don't cross certain lines. And I think that is one of my strengths, but it's also a weakness for me out here, is because I do try to show kindness to people when I can, when I feel it's called for. And I don't get that back hardly at all from people. And I don't know if it's because of originally being associated with you, or because of us falling out, or because of whatever reason.
because
People,
they've demonized and dehumanized you to the point where they feel like you don't deserve basic human decency.
yeah, yeah, like the way that, like for instance, on Alicia's stream, you were there. You saw that Kraken started coming at me first, throwing digs at me, and I
She's throwing digs at
respond.
everybody. She's a mouthy
Yeah.
one. That one.
So I respond and hand her ass proverbially,
I don't feel
first.
bad for any of that. I don't feel bad for Kraken, CC, any of these crybabies, these cry bullies that go around, judging and making smart ass, ignorant remarks, lying about you, and then they cry when you clap back. No, shut up then if you don't want it.
Right. And then instantly they're saying, oh, Scotty threatened to dox Kraken, which is so messed up. Kraken's just a subscriber. How are you going to threaten? Dude, are you guys serious? Are you
Listen,
serious right now?
Scotty, listen. Those other people, who I'm not going to name, they have threatened to dox people. And not just years ago, recently. Okay? And they're just threatening chatters, right? So why is it okay for them, but not okay for you or me or anyone else? Like everyone does the same shit. Get off your fucking soapbox and stop virtue signaling. I've heard everyone threaten it.
Right. And I caught a part of Lindsay's stream the other night where you were up there. I think it was you and Moon, and you guys were showing screenshots. And there was my Facebook profile with children in my family, little children.
Yeah.
And it was being boldly claimed that this person was going to reach out to my family members on Facebook.
Yeah. And there's zero outrage about that.
Right. Right. So people can't see where that would have made me upset at that person enough to, oh, I don't know, make a couple of little videos about them. You know what I mean? It's like they always leave out what they did to instigate a reaction.
Yeah.
And it's like you can provide the receipts and it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. No one cares that she violated my family like that. No one cares.
If that was me in that screenshot, if I was the one who was like, look, I'm going to reach out to their family, I would never hear the end of it. They would never shut up about it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and it's so disjointed, and so they wonder why my empathy level has reached the low that it has. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I've had things done to me and my family out here, and no one about it. My mother's a bitch.
Uh-oh, you're coming in and out.
your audio's
Your butt is dying.
getting mixed up.
Well, that's why I could relate, to you, and I could relate to many other people. Amber, like myself, everyone, because... Oh, you're still coming in and out. Because if somebody gets you to the point of not caring... Oh, say something. You're
something.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh no, you could keep going. I was just saying, like what you were saying, if somebody gets you to the point where you don't give a fuck about other people's feelings anymore, that's the problem. That's why the shit needs to stop on all ends, because it just makes people more bitter and bitter and bitter. And I mean, the nicest of people will fucking go real life and dox you if you push them to the point.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
it happens when people say, "Oh, I don't do that. I don't have troll accounts." The fuck out of here. Yes, you do.
We all do. We all do. I mean, anyone that says they don't is lying.
Mm-hmm. Or at least to commentate, go comment in someone's chat, and that because you're blocked on a channel. Like everybody has something to some
I have
extent.
to have troll accounts because everyone and their cousin has me blocked on my main account. I would never see anything that was said if I didn't have a
Yeah.
troll account. I just wouldn't. So it was made a necessity. But the difference between me and a lot of people out here, I will come on my main account, I will go live, and I will tell people exactly what I want to tell them. I don't have to do it in a sock account. And I don't think a lot of people have the balls to do that. They're very few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You're
that's
one
true.
of those people. You both are, right? Like you don't have to use a sock account to say what you want to say. So many of these people do. Or they
Well,
have to
that's why
go
there's clips
on
of us being
someone
shitty.
else's right. They have to go on someone else's panel to say
Mhm.
it because they don't want to say it on their channel.
Right.
Like, get out of here.
I
Get
can't
out of
stand
here.
that shit. It's, they're like, they act totally fucking innocent on their own channel, then they go to someone else's and they act like a total piece of shit. I hate that two-faced shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or they think
Yeah.
you're gonna see it, because it's in a certain channel that they're like, oh, this is further out from the community connected. But then everybody knows somebody on here. So it's always whatever you say in a chat, I consider it the same as if you said it on your own channel, because you're still talking about whatever it is.
You know what's funny is I'm probably worse on my own channel.
Yeah, you
Me
are.
too.
That's
Me
why I've
too.
already deleted some, and
Mhm.
And that's why I don't know. It's just the hypocrisy. It kills me. The two faced, because I have a really problem being fake with people. It's not an easy thing for me to do. If I don't like someone, even if I'm trying to pretend or play nice, it's super freaking obvious.
Right.
I don't do well with. You can hear if you know me at all. If you've ever seen me on a stream where I'm having to play nice with someone, you're gonna be like, Scotty, dude, that was so obvious that you didn't like her, and
Right. Like it's completely obvious, how much Scotty hates me on this panel, but we deal with it. It's okay.
right, and I'm just not very good at being fake like that. And I think that's a skill that a lot of these women have mastered, is they can be fake as hell to each other.
women and men,
not
let's not be sexist.
women and men. Well, okay.
Mostly
To
women.
anyone. And,
Mostly
Right.
women.
yeah.
Right.
And I just can't get down with that. I don't roll that way. And it's really difficult for me to even attempt it, which is why I do have so much, flack out here, is because I don't do the fake thing well. I'm just not good at it. If I say something, it's because I mean it. I might change my mind later, right? But at the moment, in that moment, it's what I mean. And I just can't do the fake. Like, I mean, a certain person that I just fell out with not too long ago was totally fine with me until, some things happened, in my opinion, that made him jealous. And that's when all of a sudden, oh, they never liked me. They never liked me. Okay. All right. Like, I don't know. I just
Find
can't.
out
I
who your
don't
friends are.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go in a couple of minutes, but that's why it kind of frustrates me when you see two people fighting, and like for me, let's say you two, and I'm like, hey, like I know it's possible because I've had fights with both of you. I know it's possible to talk. Is there anything I can do to help? And people are like, no, they've done too much. And I'm like, well, okay, it's not like I could force it. And then they keep going and then complaining about it. I'm like, yeah, but and it's just frustrating watching it play out. I mean, I know I do it too. I argue with people, but when you know it's possible with those people, like they can be reasonable. Hey, Lonnie, but they're
Hey,
not.
Right.
I get that. You
But
know.
emotions suck, you know. When I'm pissed, I'm like, I want to fucking hurt your feelings so bad. And you don't stop yourself, you know, and think.
Oh yeah, I can be cutthroat, and I'll admit that. Like I can be mean. I'm very mean when I get in my mean zone.
Yeah, and like an insult to me, if you're insulting and even saying, you know, Robbie's an idiot, like your intention obviously isn't nice with that. And if I get offended, which I mean, idiot's not going to offend me, but if it's something that I get offended by, no matter how little it is, I'm going to come back at you, but I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to make sure it hurts. I'm not just going to be like, oh, you're an idiot too. I'm going to be like, no, bitch, I fucked your husband last week. Like, I'm going to say something really fucked up, you know? I'm going to
Right.
go the lowest.
Yeah, you can read someone for filth.
Seriously.
I think all three of us are very good at reading people for filth because we can. Like I know me myself, I will observe somebody way before I ever try to roast them, and I pick up on what bothers them, even if they don't realize that they're showing it. I can pick up on it, and I notice little things. Then I will take all that information and I will go live and I will roast them. And I know they're crying when I'm done. I know they are. They ain't even got to admit it. I know they are.
See,
Well, that's the point. It's like, if you're going to insult, do it right.
here's the funny thing though about me. Like, I'm not like you guys where, you know, I roast and I go direct and I attack and I say the meanest things. For me, I'm slightly more impish with my roasting. You know, I'm not as like extreme and hardcore. Like sometimes me just having fun, like poking fun at them is like more of a brutal roast, you know, than me going directly at them because it's just me like completely disregarding like any of their feelings and just having fun, you know. Like, oh look, you're, you know, look, you got what do I say? You got big ears, you know, they're flying off into space, and you know, I'll make a meme or something like that, you know, just something like to make myself have fun with it and not be like so cutthroat, hardcore, mean. But like that sometimes will hit harder. Is just me having fun about it, you know. So like they'll be crying the next day, and I'm like, what are you crying over? Just because I had fun poking fun at this picture that you posted where you looked weird or something. You know
Or
what
you
I
were
mean?
missing an
It's more
eyeball, or
therapeutic.
Yeah, you're missing an eyeball. Like just me having fun sometimes like pisses them off more, I find.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like your cartoons, or like I've realized in the breaking news that I've done, like I can joke about it and kind of get it out without dragging someone, but hopefully they'll laugh too. So it's not that serious. But see, with me, sometimes I'm like, bitch, I don't have time for this. I'm going the lowest. You ain't going to hurt me back. Fuck you.
Dude,
And I'll talk about their dead, you know, whatever.
I literally just like, you know, cut out someone from a photo the other day and it drove them crazy. You know, it's not really that hard even to get people riled up when you're not even meaning to, you know? Like sometimes you just like poking fun at something that's just ridiculous that gets them like all worked up.
Yeah. And see, that's why, yeah, just like we're saying about Hooker, like if you're going to say something, you can expect that it's probably going to be said back to you or worse.
Mm-hmm.
So when we say shit and you're not having a logical argument, people usually aren't going to be logical in return.
Well, that's why I had
That's
so
like,
much, that's why I had so much fun with Hooker's like cam slip where she had her face and it was just like it reminded me of that SpongeBob meme where he's like looking down at the camera and I don't know if you've seen it, but the meme says, "Well, it's not going to suck itself," you know.
well, she calls me Bob. I'm going to call her SpongeBob from now on.
Call her SpongeBob. And so you see, if you just have fun with it, that sometimes drives them more crazy, you know. And I just had endless fun with that cam slip because it's like this is the badass that's, you know, screaming at me through the camera or through the StreamYard, like calling me gay and all this stuff, like this gangsta granny.
that's
Yeah,
like when I brought up how she is like obsessed with her Yeezys,
Hmm.
and like everyone, like I'll make fun of her about that, and that bugs her so bad And
Yeah.
I'm like, that is so mild. I could go way lower, but if that works, then I know I don't need to. I'll
Right.
just stick with making fun of your Yeezys when you're a 60-year-old grandma.
Sometimes something really small and insignificant can drive someone crazy. You know.
Mhm.
Well, and it's like limbo. It's like who could go lower?
Right.
And that's why people end up going real life, is because they're like, well, fuck, man.
There's nothing
This
lower
ain't
than that.
working. Yeah.
Yeah. You
And
have
to intimidate you to shut up.
right.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't like hearing people complain when they're not doing anything to fix the problem,
Right.
including
Yeah.
myself. You know, I can't sit here and complain if I'm up here dragging people and there's not anything positive happening, because there's nothing positive coming out of my fucking mouth.
Mm-hmm.
The whole reason I jumped on Alicia's panel yesterday is because I had sat there and listened to Hooker talk like she was just this big baddie who was just gonna, you just say the word and I'll take liking out the game. And then gets up on the panel and is giggling and throwing out like slurs. And I'm like, well, come on, Biggin. Where's your big hard hitting, pals? Where's the punches? Come on. Let's see it. Let's see you live up to this persona that you've claimed that you have. So that's why I jumped up there, just to help prove that she's full of it, because she ain't no big baddie. She can't handle even a little bit of slack. And if she thinks that it took all of us to make her look like a punk, no, honey, any one of us could have done it all by ourselves. And you could have brought your girlfriend and all your little buddies with you, and we still would have owned your ass the way that we did. That's just the facts. You're not good at this, Hooker. The only thing you're good at is barking.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's not a competition. Like, to answer just another troll, I've been immature when I've gone after looks. I'm not going to make excuses, but the majority, probably all of the people I've gone after their looks, is kind of what Scotty was saying when they're talking about, like, I'm better than you, or I'm this, or I'm that. I'm like, really? Show me, bitch. You know, it's, and then you see pictures of them and be like, well, you're not going on camera. Is this why? And it's childish to point it out, but I mean, if you're gonna pretend to be this perfect person and you're better than everyone else, you're tougher, you're hotter, or whatever it is, like, own up to that shit and be proud. It tells me that when you're going after people's looks and you're not on camera, and you never have been on camera, like, except for a cam slip, that tells you a lot right there. Lycan just told us to fuck off. That tells you really all you need to know is that they're insecure. He got canceled.
Hooker came for him.
Right. I even put my feelings aside. Yeah, Lonnie, I saw you over in Bitch Talks chat, and I thought that was awesome. Like, it's nice to see people coexisting, and I'd rather hear like a productive conversation that, you know, you're not just going to hear the same shit on the next stream of just like the same shit. Like, they did this to me. It's like, we already heard they did that to you. I even do that. I do it with AJ and a lot of other people because it's brought up over and over. And it's like, when the fuck is this going to end? And somebody has to stop. And people often say this, like they were saying to Lycan the other day, you know, you have to just stop, like about Granny, and just leave it be, even if she goes. And it's like, well, that's not really fair to put the pressure just on one person, because obviously something is going to, if the other person's continuing, something's going to trigger the other one to want to say something. So it's got to stop on all ends.
Yeah, I agree. It's me. I have two things that I want to say. One, Sally Ann, I did actually miss you and Trisha. I always liked you guys. I thought you were fun and cool to have around. You know, Sally Ann was always a treat on panels. Trisha was as well. I enjoyed having both you guys around. I just didn't like how you hated me after whatever happened. So that's your fault.
Fucking asshole.
So the second part of what I want to say here is responding to just another troll, which I have so much to say. So much to respond to here. Oh boy, Justin the Troll's comments really get me. But why always about people's appearances? Like, is this what we want our children's future to look like? Okay, where do I start? First off, are kids like watching this content? And if so, get your kids off of this, this channel and tell them to watch some kid appropriate content. Second off, do you think our generation invented making fun of people's looks? Do you think that this is like a wholly original thing that we came up with? This is something that happens. In fact, your kids right now are in school making fun of each other's looks right now without even watching any of this content. So
Kids probably do it online now too.
Right, and they do it online too. So that's just, and there's way worse crap out there online than this. So where else do I go with this? Our children's future to look like. I don't like, come on, stop. And also recognize people in your own crew who mock people's appearances all the time. I mean, there's so many things to dissect in that comment. Oh boy, like, do people not have any self-awareness or just general awareness of the world?
Well, I have no problem with just another troll, but I think we should be more worried about, like, where is our future going as adults if we're sitting around, because I'm not proud when I do it.
Here's my question. Does she think you're the only source of media on the internet? And so the kids are automatically going to gravitate to your channel to watch that media. That's what the kids are watching. They're all gravitating to Save Robbie's channel to watch that content. And then when they specifically heard someone mock someone's looks, and now they've learned that lesson for life to mock people's looks. Come on. Can we grow a fucking brain out here?
Right. I will say the first thing that people do when they want to have a go at me is they dig up those pictures that were taken by my ex-husband's girlfriend at my house, outside my house. I didn't know I was being filmed. It was an in the bushes type deal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing people want to use against me out here, and say I'm fat and this and that and this and that. Well, every time you people do that, okay, you are using a photo that was obtained in a very devious manner, and it was a violation of my trust of someone that I was married to for 10 years. Okay. So that it doesn't bother me what you say about how I looked in that picture. It bothers me that it was taken in my front yard. Right? Like that is the part that bothers me. And if that were to happen to any of them that are using that, they would lose their minds. They would lose their minds.
I'm just gonna go out. I'm gonna actually go out on a limb here, Scotty, and say they would probably call you fat regardless if that photo was out there. Because here's the deal. It's a drama community, right? People are gonna use whatever they can against you, right? Especially if you're going on the attack, if you have a community that has a phrase like, I don't know, we don't stop,
we don't stop.
Like that, they might use something superficial like your looks against you at some point, just to go on a limb here. So, I mean, everyone, like, I've been fat shamed, you've been fat shamed, Robbie's been skinny shamed.
No, Captain Kangaroo yesterday said skinny fat guy. Ha! He does that heavy laugh. He called me skinny and
fat. But it's like I've cammed up so many times.
You can't even have 1%. You can't even have 1% of fat without someone calling you fat. That's
an easy
too. Yeah.
Everybody's
It is
self-conscious about being fat, so that's a blanket statement to offend people.
Yes, I have shown that picture a few times. Mimi's runs, and Scotty knows that. So what are you saying that's a secret?
Yeah, Scotty and him, I mean, they've both gone back and forth. I think, see, I don't like that people always want to go back in time when productive things are happening. It's like, why ruin
Mhm.
something when it's being positive?
Right.
You don't, it's between you two. Like, you don't give a fuck. Obviously, you're aware of what you've done to each other, and the things you're not. Who gives a fuck at this point?
Trust me,
Cassandra has
things
a
that
problem.
things that Jamie has done, like one of the least ones is call me fat. That actually got to me, guys. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I know that Jamie has made fun of my looks. I'm well aware. I know he's used that picture. I've
Well,
also used the picture of him with no shirt on in front of the
right.
mirror.
We
You
both
know?
made fun of each other's looks. It's not a
Yeah.
one-sided thing, and we both admit that. So what are you saying that's a secret?
You know what's funny to me? Because the go-to for people with me is my, my hair, my mohawk. And when they do it, they're like, you need to shave that off. I'm like, first of all, are you my stylist? Second of all, if you had the same haircut as me, you would look ugly because you have an ugly face. But see, if you don't like my haircut, I still have a pretty face. So fuck you. Can I address two people just real quick?
Yeah.
Mrs. Portland texted me and she's watching and she just apologized and was sweet to me. So say hi to Miss Portland. I love you, Miss Portland.
Hi, Mrs.
Uh,
P. She texted me as well.
she's adorable. Even when she's angry, it's a little stinker. And then another person texted me and said, I was the reason that they stopped streaming and they deleted their channel because I called him a cunt publicly. And this isn't a dramatic person. So I wanted to say I'm sorry for that. Because see, you don't know the effect you can have on somebody even just by calling them out,
Mhm.
if they've done something to piss you off. So I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
The person was Lycan, by the way.
Yeah, it was me.
I just think it's funny that people don't realize that neither one of us are under the impression that the other one hasn't taken the complete piss out of each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
We know. We watched each other. We know it was public. It wasn't some secret that happened.
Yeah, like where's the room for growth? Like clip channels and people that hate you, that they see that people are liking you and it drives them nuts. And they're like, so what they'll do is they'll take a clip from God knows how long ago that you've grown from and learned from, probably even apologize for, and they'll reuse it and recycle it to make it look current so that other people hate with you. And it's like, dude, that person may have pissed you off in the past, but if you're still pissed off about something from 3 years ago, or 4 or 5, however fucking long, that's your problem. But when productive shit's happening, I don't think you should try to ruin it. No matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Oh, I was like, I don't see Cassandra.
She's there. She's been pissy at me for the past 2 years. She'll never get over it. Whatever happened back then. I think I kicked her out of a Discord server, if I'm not mistaken. That was the big slight against her.
See, it's like the simplest of things can cause the biggest fucking fights.
I know, right?
And I'm telling you, every single fight that I've had that is blown out of proportion on here is usually always because I'm talking to somebody that somebody else doesn't like.
Right.
Or you've made up with that person. That's kind of where our fight stemmed. And all of us, we all do that. We all get jealous to some point of like, why is that person talking to whoever, whether we say it out loud or not. I mean, on some levels that hurts in some way, but we just have to learn to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, Rosalang.
That's funny though that people were coming in here trying to reignite something between me and Scotty. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in that. And hell, I mean, you're both Tauruses. You'll probably argue again in the future. Probably when you get off of here, you might drag the fuck out of each other. But at least you had a productive conversation while it lasted.
Yeah. I mean, I what kills me is like, I've noticed historically that all these people set these expectations for me that are much higher than they set for themselves or others. And I am expected to carry this torch of hatred forever. When 98% of them wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire to save my life. So excuse me if my give a fuck is busted when it comes to what they think about who I speak to and who I don't. I'm just kind of over it.
Hey, Sarah in the chat, you think Cassandra's such a sweetheart for supporting ODN who got a 5-year restraining order on you? Yeah, she's such a sweetheart, isn't she? And also,
and let's keep it real, Sarah, you're probably responsible for 90% of those trolls of Cassandra.
Cassandra doesn't have socks of her going around. That's ridiculous. I've never seen her have any socked accounts of her going around.
And Rosalie, I don't know if it's okay for me to say, so, you know.
I have seen several duplicate Cassandra Troy accounts. I have. I even had 2 of them modded in my channel at the same time and had to take both the wrenches until I could try to figure out which one was the real Cassandra. But I also know that Cassandra and Sarah have had a relationship in private that they tried to hide from a lot of us.
Yeah,
for a while.
I've known of that already. Yeah, I've known of that. If Cassandra thinks that I don't know that, then she's foolish.
Cassandra, fuck out of my chat, Daria.
Cassandra, you know I see all your messages, right? She thinks she's slick. Hey, Daria.
Daria.
That's right, Cassandra. She diagnosed me 80 times. What am I? Am I a narcissistic sociopath or something like COVID says?
Yeah, and a peace supporter, and you're gay.
I like Cassie, but Cassie has messed up before and sent me messages that she meant to send to someone else about me, while simultaneously sending me messages about the other person, kind of talking out of both sides of her mouth. So
right,
Cassandra, I know where I stand with Cassie.
Yeah, well, she's a snake. That's why I originally kicked her out of my server. You know, I couldn't trust her. And Cassie, don't lie. You have diagnosed me tons of times. Shut up. She's called me NPD and said I'm a psychopath. Shut up already. Fucking liar. She lies everywhere. I don't know how anyone doesn't catch her in her bullshit. Yeah, I diagnose everyone.
That's what sucks about the internet is not a lot of people have time or take the time to really invest it to look into situations to really value the side that they choose or look at a situation in a certain way. It's usually just like, oh, I like that person. I'll believe them. It's like, why do you like them? Do you even know why?
Yeah, this is the problem, right? With Scotty, I had a friendship, right? So there was some amount of depth there. And so when we had a falling out, there was at least something for there to grab onto and like say, okay, they have drama, they have beef, right? With me and Cassandra, we never had any kind of difficulty besides the falling out. That was it. You know, we didn't have like a very, I mean, we had a friendship, you know, we were friends for a while. Like she was from the manosphere. That's where I met her, you know, not even from the drama sphere. It's like 2 communities back that I met her, this woman, you know, and she never claimed to be from any true crime community. So she lied about that as well. And by the way, Cassie, I still have the list of channels that you and me were coming up with for you to cover on your channels that you never bothered to cover, by the way. And not one of them was a true crime channel. You had a homesteading channel and some other channel that might have been like psychology based or something, but nothing true crime based. So if you were in true crime for years, that's news to me. I think you just made that up because you wanted to seem like you had some kind of firm footing in trauma that you didn't, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, we didn't really have any real impetus for her to hate me. Like I didn't do anything to her. She just decided one day, oh, I'm going to hate Jamie and say he's everything that I've been saying about Eli for years. And that's been basically her entire mission this whole time. She gets on these weird, and here's the thing: before Eli, she did this to another guy as well. What was his name? Oh God, he was from MGTOW. He's from the Manosphere. Shit, Cassandra, can you remind me who that guy was that apparently grifted like $100,000 out of your mother or whatever the fuck it was? What was his name? You hyper focused on that guy for like 2 years. Misandry Today, that was his name. Misandry Today. That guy, she obsessed over, and she has these patterns of obsessing over men. You know, she just goes after them for like years and never shuts up, never stops. It's very weird, very bizarre behavior. And literally, you don't have to do anything to her. I literally did not. I didn't grift any money out of her mother, so I don't know why she gives so much of a shit about me or what I talk about or where I go or who I associate with. I have nothing to do with her, but she's obsessed with me. Like literally everywhere I go, she has to be there.
Cassandra, did you want to take a link instead of typing?
She'll never take a link.
I got about like half hour left.
She will never take a link ever. And everything that I do, she colors and taints it a certain way. You know, like even like this is what she'll say about me and Scotty, like being friendly on here. She'll say later, "Oh, Jamie was just manipulating Scotty because he wanted her out of the way because he's narcissistically trying to position her in place against Sarah because this was his plan all along." Like she's fucking psychotic. Yeah, I got nothing to say to that fucking insane bitch.
And it's ridiculous, right? People have been saying, you know, Jamie and Scotty have been talking and she's going back to the Legion. Nothing like that's happened. Nope. Everything it's all authentic, folks. And I know that a lot of you have issues believing things like that, but it is possible.
There was one instance the other day where I commented on Scotty's community post that Money Mike was lying about something particular because he was trying to portray something a certain way about the skit that I did years ago. And I said I would email Scotty. And I don't know if you got the email, Scotty, but I showed you the comment that he left on my community wall.
I haven't. I'll check. I don't check my email as often as I should, but I'll check it.
Yeah, check your Scotty Unchained email, and you can see the comment he left was not nearly what the skit, you know, that he was implying happened. Like that, like he frames it in such a disgusting way that it wasn't.
Okay, I'll check it.
I think bottom line, people just need to start going based off their own experiences, and if it's shitty and they can't fix it, we have to just stop complaining about bullshit.
But what I don't understand is why everyone is so concerned if Jamie and I can be kinder to each other when I'm literally getting so much hatred right now. Why is it so terrible that Jamie might find it in his little bitty heart to not add to that dog pile? How is that a negative thing?
Because I'm only doing it because so I can perfectly narcissistically set you up and abuse you for the future, Scotty.
Yeah, you took back your abuser.
This is how they're gonna frame it. I'm not even. I've gone through like several instances of this kind of thing, and that's exactly what they're gonna say.
Look, I would rather. I have way more respect listening to you guys talk than, let's say, I still didn't like Lycan and Scotty was going after him and I'm cheering her on. I'm like, yeah, I get more of a high and a thrill and feel better like hearing you guys do this, even though it's enjoyable to hear people drag people I don't like. It feels better like this. It's more, it just feels better. And you feel like when you log off, you don't have that weird bad feeling of like disgust, and anger.
Right.
But I hope you drag somebody soon because that's still fun. Make sure it's somebody I hate. Just kidding.
Oh, I'm planning on it. Soon.
I think if you drag Hooker and you do it long enough, and Manda, you'll probably get some attention from the ponies or whatever the fuck.
They'll gallop in. Just kidding. I don't.
Oh my goodness.
I think Starlight's a pony. I could be wrong. I don't really know what the ponies are.
They're like from the DC.
Every time I hear it,
Starlight. They're like Starlight and those other people over there.
See, I just imagine like a bunch of like gossipy girls like on My Little Ponies, like galloping, screaming at each
That's
other when I hear
basically, except they're not little girls. They're old and crusty.
that. I like
Um,
Starlight.
to whoever is messaging me, I can't check my messages right now.
It's probably Miss
Um,
P. She's blowing
No,
me
it's
up. She wants
somebody
to-
like tripping out because I'm up here talking to like, and I think what I saw from like the
Oh,
preview, but I can't message you back right now because I'm on my telephone on the stream. So when I get off here, I will read your messages in their entirety and reply.
and by the way, put hearts in the chat if you miss Miss P. And she said hi to Sally Ann and Trisha and Scotty, I think it was, and Lycan. She was
Mhm.
blowing my phone up while you guys were talking. You guys keep like dropping and coming back naked. It's weird. Like drop
Oh,
off for a second and pop back
am
up.
I naked?
Yeah, you guys have been naked for a while.
Oh, okay. Let me change my avatar back. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay.
Scotty likes to be naked. Oh, there you go. Little kitty.
Can you see my little girl?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so do you guys have anything else to add? Because I
No.
like to go here.
I
in a
would like to
minute.
say someone just said something about the flip flopping.
It's
I mean,
flip flopping.
I'm not flip flopping. Where am I going to flip flop from? Number one, I'm kind of a free agent, right?
Well, and it's also kind of I think it's less motivating when people say shit like that. It kind of doesn't encourage people to want to make peace with people because they'll be called a flip flopper. I don't give a fuck being called Switzerland, flip flop.
It is coercive control.
Yeah,
That
it's
is what
just
that is.
dumb.
It's a form of trying to control people, calling them a flip flopper, and saying, "Oh, you better not go back on this. Better not change your mind. Better not have a mind of your own."
Yeah, you're
And
allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to have conversations. A flip flopper to me is somebody who has no fucking morals and stirs trouble and just goes from person to person stirring shit. To me, that's a flip flopper.
Cassandra, stop lying. You said I had NPD before. Just stop. You didn't say narcissistic traits, because guess what? Everyone has narcissistic traits. All right. It's kind of stupid to even say that. Oh, yes, Robbie's got some narcissistic traits. I'm not calling him a full-blown narcissist, but he's got some of the traits. Everyone's got the traits. Shut up.
Yeah, that never insulted me.
It's like saying everyone has emotions. They've got some emotions that they need to sort out. Yeah, everybody does. Don't you
Yeah,
love when people just say like the most obvious shit?
yeah, there's the real them. It's like, well, yeah, in a different emotion, that's them, but you're like, that's not who they are. You can't judge somebody like unless they're a cranky person 24/7. You can't be like, there's the real them. I mean, based off one reaction, that's stupid.
Yes, yes, everyone does have narcissistic traits, Cassandra. See, you're not really a psychologist of any kind. You said you had a psych degree? I severely doubt that.
I'm a narcissistic sociopath. I've been told that many times
Right.
since I've come to YouTube. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really give a fuck because, hold on, I don't know. I think I've looked up the specific definition of narcissist, but it says, personality qualities of a narcissist include thinking very highly of oneself. I mean, what's wrong with confidence? Needing admiration. I mean, everybody likes that at one point. So you're right on that. Believing others are inferior. I mean, if you are better than someone else, that's just awareness. And lacking empathy for others. If they don't deserve it, then you don't get empathy. So anybody could be a fucking narcissist.
Yeah, I think if one of those is needing admiration, I think a lot of people need admiration.
That's
Most
why we have
people.
social media.
Right.
You want to get the like.
yeah.
On your
If you're on
picture.
social media and you put up a picture or a community post or something like that, you're thirsting for some kind of validation.
Bingo. Or if you're
Hell,
bad,
it's a high.
Hell, if you're in a chat box, you are thirsting for some kind of validation. Like for example, when I said Cassandra's name, something tingled inside of her. I'm not saying it was down below, but it could have been, is the point. And most importantly, in her brain, it was sending like serotonin and endorphins and shit to her brain, and she gets that validation, she gets that fix, she feels good about herself. It's like, oh, wow, I got Jamie to say my name. That's how she sees
Yeah.
it.
And we like it. Like, we don't enjoy listening to people talk poorly of us, but if I'm going to be like in your cartoons, you're so talented, you're so good, you're great at doing impressions, you're independent. Like, he's going to sit there and want to listen to every fucking single compliment, because that's how we are. Scotty,
Right.
your new haircut looks beautiful. You're funny. I love your voice.
Thank you.
You're gonna not tune out of that. You're gonna make sure you
Right.
hear,
Like,
and you're
let's
probably
say,
gonna replay it over and over.
like let's say, for example, if I did a live strictly on Cassandra later, you tell me she wouldn't check that out? She would.
Oh
Because
yeah.
she wants to hear all about her, right?
Yes. As cringe as it is, I listen
Pretty
to every
narcissistic,
drag.
Cassandra. Pretty narcissistic. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, the attention-seeking behavior is also a narcissistic trait, Cassandra.
everybody wants attention.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone.
But I think it's just funny that people are like, oh, how can you go back on what you said about each other? Yeah, I mean, I don't think either one of us are going back on what we've said about each other. How do you do that? You can't rewrite history, right?
No.
But I think a lot of you are forgetting at one time we were friends, which means there was a relationship there before the hatred and the vile things that we've done to each other. So is it so odd that we would be able to sit and have a conversation and not have to want to rip each other's heads off? I don't think that's a negative thing. I think that's a sign of growth as human beings, to be able to get past all that hatred for each other and have a decent conversation where we don't have to sit and put each other down the whole time. And I think if you're mad about that, or you're going to judge me or judge him for that, then you're really missing the bandwagon. Because listen, we've both done way dirtier shit than that. You need to get the Cliff Notes version and
Can
pick
I
something
point
else to
something
be
out?
angry at us about.
Yeah.
Cassandra, I don't say this to be mean, but I just want to say, like, for an example, because I see that you keep saying, like, no, not everyone does. I'm not a narcissist. Never have, never will. That's kind of a narcissistic trait, because basically you're saying that, like, you're better than people, because you're not. And I'm not saying that to be mean. But do you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like you are, I'm not. Like, you're,
that superiority kind of complex she has.
Yeah. And you may not, I don't really know, but that statement just seems like, I'm better, you're that, and you don't even have to say that, really. Hey, Nicole.
Yeah. And listen, I'm just reactive a lot of the time, so with me, like,
Me too.
I'm pretty, like, I don't go at people unless they go at me, for the most part, unless, like, I really have, like, a fucking grudge, against somebody. So I can ignore most shit, and I'm also, like, pretty easy when it comes to, like, if someone shows me some goodwill, I show it right back. Like, I'm very easy like that.
You absolutely do that. Yep.
I don't know if it's just because I'm validation starved, or like I just I crave that someone being kind to me, but I really appreciate that, so.
But, as a Taurus, you guys are also competitive, so
Right.
you aim to win.
And very stubborn, like I said earlier. Like, it takes a lot. This was.
Sorry, Cassandra. I don't know.
This was like monumental. If people really knew us as humans, like actual people outside of the YouTube stuff, the fact that I sat here and admitted everything I admitted earlier on was a big deal for me, because it's hard for me to admit when I've been wrong about something. Like, that wasn't easy to do, because it's very humbling when you have to admit that you were wrong. And that doesn't mean that You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't change. I'm not groveling. I'm not bending a knee. I'm trying to be a better person than I was yesterday.
Well, at
You
least
know, and
you're self-aware and you recognize, when you've done wrong, and that you
yeah.
were in the wrong. That's more than I can say for a lot of people. So
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm sorry
And
I misunderstood that, Cassandra. My bad. I thought that's what you were saying, is like, I'm not. So see, I'll correct myself and say I was wrong and I jumped to conclusions.
I would say
Narcissistic bitch. Just kidding.
I would say just another troll. I would say it's real in the sense that it has very real effects on your psychology and your brain chemistry.
Well, I think especially if you're coming on here as yourself and you're presenting a lot of yourself to people, I think in any interactions with people, validation of some sort is needed. Just like an artist who sings, they often get dropped from labels because they're not like the other one. Be validated to really keep their job and to know that they're good at something, and if you're being denied, I mean, that's going to matter whether you're an entertainer or on here, to interact with people. I think having validation from people is you're on the right track. And you'll get the right validation from the right people,
Yeah.
But I think everybody needs that to some sense. Exactly, Lonnie. I do the same thing. And it's not okay to do, but it's like
Everyone does it.
well,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Michael.
Sorry,
I'm
Cassandra.
not sure who you are, but this is what I will say. When it came out that I'd had my fingers broken, and the video was played over and over by people were doubting me. They were saying I lied, laughing about it, making jokes. I saw him play it on his stream, and when the picture of my fingers was shown, he flinched. And I could tell that seeing that bothered him in a way that he couldn't hide it. Even though afterwards he did say some not nice things, I could tell it didn't make him happy to see that I had been hurt. And I can't say that for 99% of the people who were supposed to be my friends at the time. So if that kind of softened my heart toward him, that's when it started to happen. So if that's the best answer I can give you right now.
And I'm sorry, Cassandra, if you felt like I was like attacking you. I was just like trying to prove a point based off like what I thought you had said, but no, you're welcome.
Yeah, I remember that night. I was actually I had been drinking that night. I just came back from
blame it on the alcohol.
I came back from the barcade. And I think I started the stream in my car actually. Or I'm sorry, my limo that I
Right.
had someone drove me from the barcade to my home.
Exactly. There you
obviously.
go. Get that shit clipped.
So, but yeah, no, for me, I didn't enjoy seeing that because that was that's bad. That's horrible. If that, if that was real, I didn't really know the whole situation. I was just, kind of seeing stuff. So,
and I didn't want all that to be brought out. It was no one's business.
Right.
And I've dealt with it, right? But I mean, it wasn't fake. And that's, I think, why I kind of acted so odd around that time, because I didn't know how to deal with the fact that people were discussing it out here because I had trusted the wrong person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the fact that I could see, like, you couldn't hide your initial reaction. I could tell you didn't like seeing that, right? So it did make me rethink my position on a lot of things, because a lot of people didn't have that reaction. A lot of people
flip-flopping bitch
seemed amused. I know, I'm such a flip-flopper, right? I mean, I'm trying to be honest as I can. I'm not perfect. None of us are perfect. If you're perfect, then come save my soul, folks. You know what I'm saying? But
well, yeah,
I appreciated that. you know, I appreciated that you didn't have so much hatred in your heart for me that you got delight from that.
No, I didn't want you to get hurt. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. You can be angry in the moment about something, but you know.
Well, yeah, it's important to realize after your anger goes away, that's how you truly feel. Because in anger, you're not thinking straight, because you're gay, and so if you're not thinking straight, obviously you're not going to say the right thing. So when you calm down later, you know, then you're going to be like, oh shit, I'm sorry. But for some reason, people aren't allowed to do that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're just kept in that angry spot. So of course people are going to stay angry. If you're going to keep me in that spot, then fuck you too. Why
Right.
should I show you that I'm being nice? Because
Mhm.
you're pissing me off.
Yeah.
But anyways, in
Hey,
closing,
Kimberly.
you guys want to add anything in closing?
No.
Well, I'm glad
Well,
you guys were civil. I
yeah,
was
I'll
glad
just
you
say
cussed
that Tauruses
people out.
rule. So that's
That's
my
right.
last.
Tauruses do rule. I
statement.
agree.
I agree with that. I live with 2 of them. They're amazing. And they're blunt as fuck. So you basically always know how they're feeling without like having to figure it out. Are you guys there?
But I'm bum. Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I gotta
I'm
go.
down. Thanks for letting me come up, and you guys have a great day.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
thanks
too.
for coming
Later,
up.
Robbie.
Bye. I'm really glad that you guys talked. That was very nice. Hopefully a lot of people can follow suit. It inspires me to want to talk to a bunch of fucking assholes that I don't get along with. Can't wait to have a really good conversation with Captain Kangaroo. All right, guys. Thank you for being respectful. Again, I want to apologize to Cassandra. I'm really sorry for that. I've seen you around and spoke with you before, I think, in chats and stuff. So I'm sorry if I misunderstood you. So I'm sorry. Love you, Tara. Love you, Gladys. Yeah. Thank you guys. I mean, I was kind of nervous when I saw they were both coming up, but that was very nice. I enjoyed the outcome of that. I hope you guys have a good day. We're gonna end on this. I might have to cut it out of the end of my video once it's done, but I did a cover of Ariana. We're gonna end with that. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
I'm loving, I'm living, so we turn it up. Yeah, we turning it up. They point out the colors in you. I see them too. And babe, I like them. I like them. I like them. Yeah, we turning it up. No chance, no